Hello, and welcome to episode 54 of the MisanthroPod. I'm Snipe, and as always, I'm joined by Wib. Say hello.
Hello.
And I'm joined by Drummer. Say hello.
Hello.
I'm also joined by our very illustrious mystery guest. Say hello, Alpha.
Hello.
There we go. It should have been hello. It should have been me doing a voice.
Hello.
Yes. Hello, Alfabusa. How are you?
Hey, I am here, as of currently. I am a guest and everything. I'd like to preface my introduction by saying I am sorry.
That's how Drummer started the call.
Oh yeah, exactly. But to everyone who only likes to listen to Snipe, Wib, and Matt and doesn't like when some random goddamn gestriclander squeezes in to ruin their precious podcast time. Don't worry, I know the feeling. I am 100% aware of my complete redundancy in this position.
No, it's fine. It's great marketing. You know, you cross your brands over. You get a bit of pollination of fan bases. It's perfect. It works out for everyone. Well, I say everyone. I mean, it does nothing for you because it does everything for us.
I don't know. What if I am able to win someone over with my? No, never mind. Actually, it's not gonna.
I like that. It's like, what if I win them over with my personality? No, that's not going to work.
I love the idea that someone is going to listen to this podcast and be like, oh, featuring Alfabusa. Well, I am the only person who doesn't like that guy, but I'll listen anyway to see if he can convince me. Just sitting there the whole time with this sour ass.
That's my goal for this podcast. It's to convince that one person who fucking despises me but loves your podcasts to give me a shot, please. Please give Alpha a shot. He's trying so hard.
Please, Stephen. He's done it. He's wearing a suit and everything.
Stephen, please.
I dressed up in my proper big boy clothes for you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. He bought you flowers.
Not that you can see.
He polished cutlery. He's done everything right.
Yeah, I do have cutlery. While you cannot see them, I can make noises. I can drop them on the floor.
Is this what you want, Stephen?
Okay, so...
Sorry, okay. Alright.
So after this train wreck has well and truly started, shall we try and go on with something vaguely resembling a topic?
Certainly.
Yeah, get the content on.
Okay, so
that sounds pretty fake.
First thing out the way, a little bit of channel news. We have a PO box now.
Ooh.
So if you want to send anything to the channel, like you want to send us like a cutlery or a letter or like a picture or something or whatever, you can send it to Snipe and Wib, PO Box 8347 Derby DE1 9DF.
I have a question. If you want cutlery sent, do you mind if there's like a bit of dried-in egg and caviar on the cutlery?
Honestly, I insist that there is.
What? Okay, you've said that now. People are going to send us dirty cutlery.
Yeah, but the thing is, you know what I'm going to do? People send me, like, dirty cutlery. What I'll do is I'll swab it and get the DN off it and just plant it around random crime scenes around the city.
Oh!
So if you do, be warned that's what I'm going to use it for.
That will also happen to any genetic material found on any goddamn Battenberg that is sent to us.
Yeah, fingerprints, I am planting those on murder scenes. Fuck the lot of yous.
Baked Battenberg. Like homemade.
No. I would literally throw that at a bus. So then the bus would drive away from me.
Yeah, the buses you occasionally hear go past in the podcast will throw it at those.
You reckon there is such a thing as a homemade Battenberg at all?
Yeah, I've seen homemade Battenberg.
Are you
You've seen hell,
sure?
then. You still have eyes.
I'm pretty sure. Maybe people were lying to me, but I don't know why they would feel the need for such mendacity relating to a cake.
I just figured they all came out of the Battenberg factory in
in Battenberg.
In hell.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I guess it makes sense that Battenberg is a place, and I hate it now.
The Swedish town of Battenberg.
The Swedish town of Battenberg. Yes.
I imagine Battenberg comes out like it's the end of like a Play-Doh thing.
I just get squeezed
Like it
out.
just is a solid stream squeezed out the end of the factory that there's just some guy on the end of it chopping it off. Like he doesn't.
He's like a proper lumberjack, and he's just hucking
Like-
that axe back and forth. And he's
Yeah.
like, he goes home and he's like wiping the sweat from his brow. And he's like, "Honey, it's been a long day at the Battenberg factory."
There's no one in the factory
There's
either.
no one in the factory.
They feed the
He
raw.
just comes out.
They feed the raw ingredients into an eldritch monstrosity that then just emits Battenberg at the end.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Slurm Queen,
Yeah.
but it's Battenberg. It's the Battenberg Baron.
We were talking about the PO box, weren't we?
Yeah.
Don't send Battenberg.
So yes, there is that PO box. If you want to send us something, thank you very much. Don't feel the need to have to. And there's a bunch of stuff we put in a video on our channel about dumb rules about import tax in the UK. So check that out if you want to, because import tax is awful and it's the worst.
Basically, if you say you're returning your belongings, you don't get tax on it. So that seems like the way around it.
I think that's going to look really suspicious if, like, for argument's sake, we get like 200 letters and every single one of them is like, we're returning this property. It'll make us look like the worst international, like, well, I guess everyone else would look like the worst international thieves.
You see, and I thought the fact that you were telling people to fight cops in the last episode would be the most illegal thing that was said for a while in the
I
podcast.
legitimately told people to fight police officers.
Chain lightning,
Not
right?
not legitimately. I mean,
No, you
see, when I
warned
say things-
against it, right?
I warned against it because they have chain lightning, but they do have the best loot. So
I listened to that one. I'm in on the conversation. I know about the chain lightning.
heck yeah, you
You
do.
understand that reference?
I just, yeah. Finally.
I mean, in order to be on our podcast, you have to fight at least 4 different types of police officer, and that's why Alpha's here. He power leveled.
What are
just
the 4 kinds of police officers? You got the
okay? There's like
standard
4
one.
different classes.
Yeah.
So there's like 1 tank, 1 medic, 2 DPSs.
Oh.
So the first tank is a SWAT boy.
SWAT boy.
SWAT boy. That's
The small security count?
Oh no, they're kind of like they're more like NPC cops.
I thought mall security.
Populate the world and make it feel more realistic.
I thought mall security was like a derisive nickname for like under-level 10s.
Yes, that too.
like a level 8 cop, they call a mall cop. Like,
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
it's because
derisively.
like the max level of cop is 70. I don't know why they stopped at 70.
They're waiting for a new expansion.
Yeah, must be.
Ooh.
Like the blue line or something. I don't know.
What about detectives?
Detectives? Oh, they're kind of like a prestige class.
Ah.
Because each class has like they have like 2 subclasses. So I think the detective is a subset of the Bobby Man.
The Bobby Man.
Bobby Man.
Okay.
Yes.
So, this started off as a train wreck. What's the stage after train wreck?
That's an whatever it is, we're going to attain it.
The train wreck went right down like some kind of fucking volcano.
It crashed through a Battenberg factory.
2 trains crashed into a Battenberg factory built on a volcano.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna try and
It was
just
built on a
briefly.
portal to hell.
I'm gonna briefly take us to another topic
Okay.
that is not related to fighting cops or Battenberg.
Okay. I mean, that sounds boring, but whatever.
So, because this is the big thing at the moment. New Fallout game has been announced. Fallout 76.
Which I just keep thinking is a skin for Jack Morrison on Overwatch.
I totally understand that. Which they've just released like a little teaser of, and were completely cock-blocked by the Pokemon Company because as they were doing their stream to announce it, where they were just filming a fucking Pip-Boy for fucking hours and blue balling everyone something
There were
fierce.
marble hornetsing pretty bad.
Then Pokemon just put up, oh yeah, by the way, we're doing this RPG on the Switch, that thing you've always wanted us to do. Yeah,
You
we're
always
doing
wanted a
it.
home console version of like Pokemon. Yeah.
We're just doing it.
So good.
Pokeblock, dude! Whoa!
Heck yes.
It's got like integration with Pokemon Go as well, hasn't it? This
does.
is Pokemon Let's Go, not Fallout 76.
Hey ho, Pokemon Let's Go. Although, I would love Fallout 76 to have Pokemon Go integration.
That would be great.
It was like this big sneaky thing with Nintendo and Bethesda. Nintendo and Bethesda.
Nintendo Bethesda.
I was going to call it Bethesdo. I was like, don't call it Bethesdo, don't call it Bethesdo. So I called it Nintendo. Which sounds like a chicken that Nintendo have cooked.
Yes.
So, I read up an article about Fallout 76. So there's been anonymous sources come out with people familiar with the project who say that it's not going to be a standard Fallout game. And these are, of course, anonymous sources, so you have to take this with, the respective amount of salt.
Yeah.
But they say it's going to be an online survival RPG inspired by games like DayZ and Rust, which presumably means
Sounds really boring and horrible.
that you're going to be chased around by super mutants hurling racial slurs at you.
That feels a few years too late, maybe?
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah, it's like they've missed the boat on this one by, a fair bit.
A lot of people assumed it was going to be a battle royale.
I was going to say, once 6 months later they add a battle royale mode to it, it'll kick off then.
Yeah.
And then they'll get sued by PUBG, who don't understand you can't copyright a fucking game account. That they stole from Minecraft mods.
Yeah.
But
That stole it from a movie, that stole it from a fucking movie.
That stole it from a manga.
But
Yeah, because if you make something, you make an adaptation, you're a thief.
Yeah.
but
You're a damn dirty thief.
I assume this is kind of an Elder Scrolls Online situation, I assume. It is official, but it's kind of takes a bit of a distance from the mainline games, I suppose.
It looks like a...
Yeah. I mean, it's set in a different time period, because it's set 20 years after the war, because that's Vault 76 is supposed to be like that. They all come out and...
Just like Elder Scrolls Online.
Oh, I didn't know.
That's set 20 years after the Fallout War.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls Online was set 20 years after a nuclear war.
It's a way better Fallout game, let's be honest.
But I get to just be a hipster dickhead because I've never really cared for Fallout particularly, so I just got to go on Twitter and look like a smug arsehole and say I'm more interested in the new Sonic racing game.
See, I just went there and started teasing Dr. White and be like, yeah, it's going to be Fallout 4 for the Switch. Which, honestly, I kind of wish it was, because that would have been fucking hysterical.
It would have been. Also, I went and agreed with your opinion.
Yes, I thank you for the backup.
Yes.
And then he was like, we were all wrong. It's some bullshit. But, I've been seeing this chat online about, they picked Vault 76, but, 77's the best one because it's one man and, 3 crates of puppets. And, people saying, I just want to see someone, first person, someone holding up a gun in their right hand, and in their left hand it's like a plush crocodile puppet.
Yeah, it's like the crocodile puppet from a Punch and Judy show. It's just shout. It looks like it's shouting every time you fire a gun.
It's doing the Fuzzer Dart, but it doesn't do anything.
Amazing.
And you can have a bunch of internal monologue where you're just talking to the puppets.
What was it you said? It's Mr. Flibble from Red Dwarf.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's when Rema goes nuts and he's got a little
Penguin
puppet of a penguin.
Yeah.
Brilliant features.
It's like, yes, God, that would be cool. And it'd be good if you could do your hand puppet had different stats, so you could have basically 0 intelligence, but your puppet could be really smart.
Or you could have a puppet with really high charisma that you can use to talk people around.
Hey.
So the really sexy puppet.
Ooh, basically it's just a crocodile, but you've put fake eyelashes on it and given it ping pong balls for boobs.
Yes.
It's like, hey there.
I am so fucking confused. I have no idea about anything.
Yeah, that's a common side effect about being on this podcast.
All I want to do is jump in and say, well, technically, charisma isn't necessarily linked to your appearance.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, you know what? And don't judge me for this, but in the Book of Erotic Fantasy for AD&D, that was actually a thing. Comeliness was a different stat.
It was, yes.
Don't ask me how I know that.
In other news of video games that
give
will
our answer,
actually
Papa.
exist, as opposed to the video games we're making up in our head,
Which are going to be way better than Fallout 76 anyway. I would say.
there is it was a good trailer for Fallout
Tactics, where you can play as fucking Terminators.
It's a Freudian slip, goddammit. Space Hulk Tactics.
Yeah.
Which is the latest...
Which is fully integrated with Pokemon Go.
Yes, fully integrated with Pokemon Go.
Brothers, I'm gonna catch me a fucking Eevee.
Oh no, the Xeno infestation is heading towards us. Quick, throw out your Charizard, Brother Ash.
Brother Ash. Brother Ketchum.
He's sitting there in his Terminator armor. He tries to turn his hat back, but he can't because of like the head guard thing. And he looks sad, and then he just throws the ball out.
Yeah, and he just kind of drops it, and he's like, fuck this.
The particular Eevee has been infested by the Gene Stealer cult. Aboard the
Oh,
Space
no.
Hulk.
It would be a genie.
Oh, that works. That works.
Oh,
Yeah.
I want a genie now. That would be so cute and
Would it?
horrifying. No, actually, no. I want it just so I could keep it in a box and just kind of go, I don't know why I thought this was a good idea.
That does lead to the interesting question: would you be able to catch Tyranids in a Pokeball?
Yes. Can you imagine that? Like, oh, Bulbasaur, I choose you. Gene Stealer. Yeah. I just love the idea of someone letting loose a fucking, like, Gene Stealer in a Pokemon gym.
Goes straight to the other trainer,
watch
just ignores their Pokemon completely.
It's just like, well, I guess he wins by default.
Or you think you're being really clever releasing a Gene Stealer and the other fucking trainer just unleashes fucking old One Eye and you're like, oh shit.
This is so unfair. Anyway, Space Hulk Tactics.
We should talk about video games that exist. Yes. So Space Hulk Tactics, new Space Hulk game. The start of the trailer is a little weird because it almost sounds like it's something new to make an adaptation of the Space Hulk board game and pretends that there isn't like 4 versions of it previously.
Yeah.
But this one, it does actually look pretty good. Like graphically, looks better than all of them, apart from Space Hulk Deathwing. That's a first-person shooter, so it doesn't really count.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of like a tile kind of
Yeah,
turn-based.
it's like properly based on the board game, which is cool because the board game is very good.
It's very fun.
I saw on James Swallow's Tumblr page that he's actually writing some of the stuff for it, so it is has a proper like Black Library author behind it.
Nice,
it's cool.
Okay.
The two big differences seen with it, apart from there's like 4 different chapters you can play.
as the Space Pups.
You can play as the Space Wolves, as well as the usual Blood Angels, Dark Angels, and Ultramarines. So that's kind of neat. But you can also play as the Gene Stealers, and there's a proper full campaign for Gene Stealers.
Cool.
I do think that's a really cool thing because, like, in the game of Space Hulk and Space Crusade, you could play as the bad boys.
In the board games, yeah.
So it's like I'm surprising it took them this long, but I do like the idea of that. I hope you can have like versus matches.
You can.
with people.
It has like online multiplayer.
Even better.
Yeah.
I literally watched this trailer like half an hour ago, and I can't remember anything about it. So.
Actually, you did say something about it, because you mentioned Space Crusade a minute ago. In this, one of the things that seems to be new that I don't think is in the board game is you have cards with abilities.
That's not in Facebook. That's not in Space Hulk. That's in Space Crusade.
Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook. You have cards to see if you can, like, I don't know.
If your data gets stolen.
If your data gets stolen, which everything is just yes. Topical humour. But no, you have like those kind of cards in Space Crusade.
Yeah, you do.
So I was like, just like Space Crusade.
Yeah, so that's interesting, bringing back something that's from Space Crusade, or more accurately, they're just doing it because every game has to have some kind of collectible card game thing in it now. But that's, we can pretend that it's a callback to a very old board game that's cool.
Of course.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yes.
Because that makes us feel better. But yeah, looks good.
I didn't play I remember that back in the day, Space Hulk was, it was just a game called, like, Space Hulk, right? That was released, like, I don't know, a couple of years ago. Like, the first one that had been released since fuck knows how long.
Yeah, there's been, like, 3 recently.
Yeah. I know that I bought it, but I didn't actually play it. Did you play that one any? Because I know it looked alright, I think.
I played like the first level of both of them. Because what is it? I think it's Space Hulk and Space Hulk Ascension are the two adaptations of the board game. And I played like the intro level of both of them and went, to make sure it works and everything. And I was like, we should probably do a video on that at some point, and then never did.
Understandable. But in none of them you could play Gene Stealers. Then.
Not to my knowledge,
I don't think you could, no.
That's kind of bad. Depressing. Speaking of which, they should implement that. They should implement that in Deathwing as kind of a in Left 4 Dead where you got the
absolutely
yes to like the versus mode.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
I think some asymmetrical multiplayer would be really cool for that. It's like the perfect setting for it as well.
Yeah.
I do have some thoughts about the enhanced edition that I will talk about later on in the podcast. Actually,
of course.
So that's the thing. But the trailer looks. It's one of those things where you look at the trailer and you're like, it looks better than the previous adaptations. To me, anyway, it looks a little. I mean, obviously, I'm just going off what it looks like, but it looks a little less clunky than the old ones.
It looks fine, honestly. Yeah.
And I hope it, as ever, I hope the video game is good. And to be fair, just like Fallout 76, like I hope it's good.
Oh yeah, of course.
If you get the green version, you can start with Bulbasaur. I'm not going to let that joke go. I have made an infinitely better game. Bethesda, hire me.
It's the Pokemarines.
Okay, next news topic. The next topic to cover is one that I think many people are going to have feelings about.
Okay.
And,
Pokemon Let's Go.
Yeah, let's talk about that, shall we?
Hey, if you want to talk about Pokemon Let's Go, I don't know dick
I can
about
totally talk about Pokemon Let's Go.
You go talk about Pokemon Let's Go, Alpha. You do it.
But it's also a thing that people might have feelings about because people there is kind of a divide between Pokemon Go players and Pokemon mainline game players, right? In that the mainline players think Pokemon Go are casual trash that shouldn't be allowed to even go near a Pikachu. While
they can go near a Gengar, but not a Pikachu. That's the sacred Pokemon.
No, they can go near shit tier Pokemon like Pinsir.
Pinsir isn't that bad.
Pinsers are fine. I think you're talking about Mr. Man.
Oh, yeah, or Girder, which is the fucking worst Pokemon.
Girder, is that just literally a Steel Beam?
Yeah, that's the Steel Beam one. I have a story behind that one, but
the Steel Beam Pokemon.
It's the worst. Fuck off. I don't like it.
I hate the ice cream Pokemon.
And I think that one's fine. I think that's because I got a shiny one once, and it's pink and strawberry. It's good.
Oh.
It's a good.
Have you eaten your Pokemon, Alpha?
No.
Is it dead?
I don't want to defrost my mouth.
Okay.
But
okay. Yeah, you're right. That would be weird.
But the Pokemon games, they implement a lot of the Pokemon Go systems, like when you have to catch Pokemon, you go out into the wild and then you throw your ball with the Switch controller, basically. So you do like a throw motion, and that was quite controversial due to the fact that there are no wild Pokemon battles as far as we know. And thus, the whole, system is changed. There is still trainer battles, which is... I think that's enough. That's fine. That's good. But there isn't any wild Pokemon battles. So people are wondering, okay, how do we even level up Pokemon? How do we do anything, basically? So that's gonna be interesting. But I am very excited about it, because I like me some Pokemon. And it being in Kanto again, from Red and Blue, is amazing to me.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it just being a Switch Pokemon game is just... I like it. I like it.
When's it meant to be coming out?
November this year.
Because that might push me over the edge onto getting a Switch, I think.
Honestly, I kind of watched it and I was like, shit, I think I need a Switch now.
Yeah.
Because I've just not been interested up until now.
I've been very interested, but I just can't quite justify it yet.
As a Switch owner, I can vouch for it heavily, because it feels like I'm of the opinion that consoles in general are kind of redundant when you've got a PC. When you've got a PC, you've got most of the games that you want to play.
Yeah.
And they're cheaper.
Yeah, and you've got really good controls. I mean, a keyboard and mouse, you cannot compare anything to it.
Exactly.
And but the Switch fills a niche that the PC doesn't, in that it's also handheld, you know? And that...
I have to ask, though. I went nuts on this feature when it was announced, and I need to ask you as a Switch owner, how often does HD Rumble make you feel that there is more than one ice cube in a glass?
Wait, HD Rumble? I'm sorry?
It's HD Rumble. Oh, you don't even... Oh, God, okay, so it's that good. You haven't even noticed.
In the announcement thing for the Switch, they made a big deal about how the Rumble was so good.
And like one of the Joy-Cons, they're like wiggling about like it's a shot glass.
Oh, you mean that they vibrate, right?
Yeah.
That's like not a thing, isn't it? I don't remember the... Okay, there's one game where it's used, which is the... that I know of, at least, that I can remember, which is the... that one game that was released during launch, where you do physical activities.
Is it 1-2 Switch?
Yeah, exactly. 1-2 Switch. That...
How the fuck do I remember that? I've not thought about that in like a year.
You've probably forgotten some kind of cherished childhood memory, but you remember that name.
Probably. It's just the repressed memories I have left.
Yeah, but...
I can't remember... like, my mother's face, but I can remember the name of 1-2 fucking Switch. Just how Nintendo wants it.
It's that game's fine. Like, it can be fun to play, you know, sometimes. There are a few mini games in there that are fun, but the whole vibration thing is mostly for the, like, when you're supposed to, like, break open a lock through a code.
So it's training you how to steal.
Yes, exactly.
I like it. Maybe if I, like, get it, or I can play it, and then steal myself a Twitch.
A Twitch.
I will Okay, yeah,
Steal
no, that wasn't
Twitch.
a mistake. I was going to steal Twitch.
Steal the Twitch source codes.
Just steal the actual website. I'm going to keep it under my bed.
To be
I'm
fair,
going to replace it with a Nintendo Switch so everyone's happier.
Perfect.
Because Twitch is kind of garbage.
I was going to say a single Nintendo Switch will probably operate better than Twitch sometimes.
Yeah.
But
yeah, for about the 1 million people who use it. So
yeah.
It'll be a lot more fun as well.
I'm sure it's really easy to like program a back end to streaming HD video. I'm sure it's really easy.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the office building for Twitch, where they I'm going to go to the vault where they keep the Twitch website.
Yeah.
I'm going to scoop it up, sneak it out, take the bus home. Maybe get a Subway. I might treat myself to a full-on like chicken like sub with bacon bits as well. Because I'm gonna be tired. Like,
what about a Burger King?
Yes.
I could get a Burger King. Okay, I'll get a Subway and then I'll get a Burger King, and I'll break up the Burger King and put it in the Subway.
That's sheer decadence.
Yeah, but I stole an entire website and I have it on my person.
That's fair.
And then I might have a nice walk home with it. Maybe I'll get a coffee, and then I'll just pop it under my bed and oh shit, I forgot to swap out the Switch.
Oh, you're gonna have to go back.
Yeah, you gotta go back.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll be like, I'll have to eat my Subway Burger King on the way back, hurriedly, and like shit. Okay, because it's going cold by now.
Yeah,
So that's
I'll go
okay.
back
Cause
and
you're not
I'll be
allowed
like,
you're not allowed hot food on the bus, but if it's gone cold, that's fine.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm doing. And the bus driver's just like, back so soon? I'm like, yeah, I've left something at the office, and he buys it because he doesn't know what I'm doing. He doesn't know that I'm stealing an entire website and secluding it on my person.
because bus drivers care what you're doing.
Bus drivers
Yeah.
immensely care. They're literally basically policemen that drive buses.
They're a low tier police.
They're a low tier policeman.
Can you
They're
fight
kind
them?
of like level 1, level 2. Yeah, you can fight them, but they don't award much XP, honestly.
But you do get a bus.
But you do get a bus, but you need
it's
to
a
be
good
level
mount.
20 or higher to use it.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's like speed 2,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But yeah, so I'll go back to the Twitch offices and I'll pretend that I left my teeth in there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'll be because I'll have loads of like Subway Burger King in my teeth, and I'll be like, oh hello, and just cover my teeth with my gums, and then nobody wants to talk to someone who's got Burger King in there who stinks of Burger King and is pretending they don't have teeth. So I'll get in back into the room, then I'll put the Nintendo Switch back in there. Don't look at me like that. This is the thing I'm actually doing. And then I'll sneak out again. And this time I think I'll feel guilty. Because, you get a really big meal, you feel guilty afterwards. I'd probably go and get, like, I don't know. I'll get, like, a bottle of peach iced tea.
Okay.
And not a cold one, just a
Isn't
tepid
that
one.
quite sugary though?
It is sugary, but I mean, it's a hot day out.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
and Twitch as a website is pretty large, so it's been pretty heavy.
Oh, you didn't leave it at
getting
the
my
house.
games on.
You smuggled it back into the building.
I did because I was in such a panic I forgot to leave it under my bed.
Right, okay, yep.
So, it's been a bit of a comedy of errors, but, I finish up the day, everyone's happier because now they have, Switch.tv,
Yeah.
and it's just literally a video of a Switch, and one chat room. It's not even on, people are just like, wow, this is so much better.
I'm glad that for once I just let that roll rather than chastising you to stop, because I wanted to see how deep this rabbit hole went.
Okay, you should never do that because I won't stop.
And then in one fell swoop, all of the people who actually make a living off of Twitch fell silent and probably died or went out and had
Oh no! Okay, so I'm gonna sneak out the next day.
with some
what I'm gonna do-
Cerberd King. It's a hidden menu item that you can combine a
Savage
Subway
King.
sandwich and a burger.
Burgered sandwich. But no, what I'm gonna do then is because I don't want Twitch streamers to die, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep Twitch under my thing in like a lunchbox, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna feed them bread and milk every day.
This does bring a very new meaning to a Twitch sub.
Yes, they are my sub.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll feed them subs, actual Subway sandwiches.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah, there we go. Look, I've solved the Twitch problem.
Yeah,
Perfect.
perfect.
So now everyone has stopped listening. We can talk about Warhammer Adventures without too many people getting mad at us.
You're welcome.
Very good.
Yeah, that worked quite well, actually.
I fully intended that to happen. That is a legitimate thing I went for.
So yeah, since the last podcast, I think actually it might have come out on the day the last podcast went up.
The Warhammer James Workshop.
James Workshop, yeah. Announced.
Because they always announce things they wait until after they know that we have finished doing a podcast.
Yeah.
Because, then they hope that maybe we'll forget about it in the 2 weeks it takes us to record another one.
But yeah, they have announced...
Warbammer Quests, James Workshop did.
Yes.
So yes, it's a whole Warhammer Adventures line that has both an Age of Sigmar and a 40k version that are books for younger readers, aged 8 to 12 is I think the demographic they're aimed at. Because sort of have something for kids who are into Warhammer to read, and personally, I think it's fucking great.
I think that's a really good idea.
Because, let's be honest, because some people are being weird about it. Let's be frank.
Some people are actually feeling jealous of children.
I know.
I'm gonna fucking say it.
But it doesn't mean you can't read it just because it's aimed at kids.
Well, the common thing I've seen about people being I'm talking about the incredibly idiotic vocal minority here, where a lot of them are like, oh yeah, it's just going to be shit. It's going to misinterpret the lore. It's going to be terrible. And then people have gone, well, they're not really meant for anyone who's not within the age demographic. You don't have to read it. And they're like, well, I'm not going to, but it's going to ruin the fandom.
No, I disagree.
You're like,
fuck off, kids. The books are mine. They're mine.
Just imagining a guy in a games workshop, a fully grown adult guy, like a 10-year-old comes and goes, Mummy, I want a Tau. I like Tau. I read about them in Warhammer Adventures, TM. And then, because that's the thing, that's how children talk. And, the guy is just starts grabbing fistfuls of every model in the shop and just hissing violently, no, not for children.
He says, hurling fucking Necrons at him. Just get out of the...
Texture paint left, right, and centre. Get out of here! There's nothing for you here!
But
just like they do now. Oh wait, that's not a thing.
I find it so weird because, aside from the fact that everyone's, assuming they're going to be terrible and ruin the lore, even though they're not out yet. But they say, I've seen people saying think of doing this what kind of faux moral panic thing, think of the children, and it's what age was everyone here when they first played Warhammer? Because I think I was 12.
Everyone I know is probably quite young.
Yeah, I was 9.
Yeah, exactly. That's about the same kind of age.
I think I was a bit older. I was I think 13 or 14. But both my younger brothers, who are 3 years younger and then 3 years younger again,
Yeah.
So 6 years younger than Total started at the same time. So they were, the youngest was probably 9 or so, 8 or 9.
So yeah, that's like the thing. Like, there are some things in Warhammer lore that is not suitable for younger children's, but is not suitable for younger children. But that's not going to be brought up in these books. But the thing is, the kids are playing it already.
Yeah.
So giving them something just makes good business sense, and is just nice for the kids to have something that's theirs.
Yeah, exactly.
The only criticism I've heard that I actually think does have some merit is that, you know how the whole of the Imperium is supposed to be like a warning about why fascism is bad.
Yeah.
Like you're not supposed to look at the Imperium and go, this is a functional empire. Like, you're supposed to look at it and go, wow, totalitarianism ends up in bad places, doesn't it?
I like 40k because no one's really the good guy. And the Tau were for a while, but then they weren't.
Yeah.
And I think the problem is that Games Workshop sometimes forget that as well and kind of portray the Imperium as being a bit too heroic.
Yeah.
That's the problem with the kids' book, is that they've got to have an unequivocal good guy as the Imperium.
That's the only thing that concerns me, is that they might end up
glorifying,
maybe accidentally portraying some quite bad bits of ideology as being totally fine and being aimed at kids who aren't old enough to realise the satire involved.
Yeah.
But it's not out yet, so a good writer can completely sidestep that.
I do think that, from what I've read on Twitter from Cavan Scott, who is one of the writers for, I think, the 40k book, he made the point that he is fully aware that the Imperium are not the good guys, which is good. And if you read up on the characters, you can see that they can make this work, because one of them is the daughter of a rogue trader, and rogue traders are more or less the most free faction in all of the Imperium. They
can do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, exactly. And the other guy, the boy, is a runaway. He didn't want to be what's it called? A
guardsman.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't want to be a guardsman, so he ran away, which is also a. While it is something people whine about because, hey, how did he run away? It's still something that makes sense. It's something.
The Imperium is a faction that loses planets due to clerical errors. It'll lose one kid.
Yeah, I think a kid can probably be easier to hide and run away than a planet running away.
That kind of thing is easy to make an excuse for, and it works. But still, it's a way to sidestep the whole glorifying space fascism part of 40k by making the characters part of the Imperium but distant from it, which I think is a pretty smart way of doing it.
That sounds great. I hadn't actually seen that stuff, so that does kind of alleviate my one real concern there. So that's good.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing of I think a lot of people forget just how fucking gargantuan the Imperium of Man is supposed to be, as well.
And just how diverse the lore is.
That's the thing. It's so gargantuan that you could basically probably have one of every type of story in there.
Yeah.
You could have a really feel-good, sweet, romantic comedy set in 40k. And because the universe is so fucking huge, you could do it.
You could.
Yeah.
Oh, can I?
Easily, and I'm going to do that right now.
Well, it's imagine the breadth of stories we get that are set just on Earth in our reality, and then times that by however many millions of planets there's meant to be, or whatever it is. There's going to be a range of different stories happening at the same time.
Yeah.
A good comparison I thought of was that, The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings are written for two very different demographics, because he wrote them for his kids and they were a different age when those two things came out.
Yeah.
One of them is way more adult-oriented, but both of them feed into each other lore-wise, but they're not The Hobbit isn't considered the shit tier, oh my god, it ruins the lore entry.
I mean, the film, maybe.
Very good.
Oh, well, the film.
But yeah, the books.
Yeah, can I go on a quick rant about this a little bit, specifically in correlation with lore stuff?
Sure, go for it.
So
rev up the alpha bus.
I absolutely adore the existence of these books. I am excited by the mere notion that they exist, but for multiple reasons. Like, even if these books are incredibly badly written and misrepresents the universe in a myriad of ways, that will still, in my opinion, bring something incredibly uniquely hilarious to the 40k galaxy, I feel. Like, there's a lot of lore considered bad by many 40k, fans of 40k, as you may know. But
40k fans being opinionated about the lore, you don't say.
I don't know.
But I find the key to enjoying 40k the most is no matter the stories in it, is to not take like a staunch stance against it and deem it something bad that is ruining 40k. Like, the key is to either ignore it and not include it in your own, like, headcanon, if you want your 40k all, like, serious. It's your, like, prerogative, of course. Or you can just... This is how I do it, of course, so I am biased. You can just embrace it and make fun of it and make fun with it and evolve it and improve it and be a bit cheeky about it and... Like, being angry and stern and strict about things like lore, I feel, is kind of the biggest problem with any given fandom, really. Like, it's...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to recognize that in 40k, the canonicity is not strict and linear. On a post by my boy Aaron Dembski-Bowden on Reddit, there was one guy who compared the canon of 40k to the canons of the Bible, which... I thought was a brilliant comparison in many ways.
Okay.
Like, I kind of get that.
I get that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, everything in 40k isn't necessarily canon, nor is it necessarily non-canon. It's up to you. You get to cherry pick while you are, say, writing a backstory for your own Space Marine chapter.
Well,
or that.
also from Aaron there.
Yeah?
Who is your boy. I remember reading a post he made years ago about that when they write novels, like Black Library novels, they are written with the concept of loose canon.
Yes.
There's a lot of room to explore and change and do weird things with it.
I mean, I always interpret it kind of the expanded, like Black Library novels and just all of the 40k kind of stories. I personally interpret that canon as propaganda, almost.
A lot of it is written from that perspective, yeah.
So, I kind of see it's like, oh yeah, like, even like the Matt Ward stuff, and don't be a cool edgelord and say, oh god, yeah, Matt Ward ruined 40k, because...
It's the Ultra Smurfs.
It's like, yeah. It's like,
God.
I didn't like some of his stories, but the thing is, it's like, you could just go, well, that was just a particularly weird propagandist kind of story. None of that happened.
Of course, Drago didn't carve his name into Mortarian's heart. That's stupid. It's propaganda.
It's propaganda. There we go. See how much happier you can be if you just go, this thing that I don't like is just bad propaganda.
Yeah,
Or it's easy. Like, there's going to be loads of misinformation, like, in the 41st millennium about the Imperium, because being pretty fascist, they're going to put a bunch of, hey guys, you know how we're the best? And you should keep doing what we say? Yeah, here's a story about why we're so good.
Yeah. It's just... it's, like, totally true. Like, there is so much out there, so much interesting lore, so much stuff that is nonsense, but it's sort of in this nebulous period. Like, Obi-Wan Sherlock Clouseau has never technically been retconned.
No. He exists, and he is real.
Yes.
Like,
in
so,
our hearts. He is perfect.
So much dumb shit from Rogue Trader, and, like, if you're listening to this, you should probably know this, because, like, the only reason anyone knows who we are is because we talked about how much 40k's lore has changed.
Can I talk about, like, a reason why I like your Codex Compliance series so much?
Yeah, you are totally free to compliment us, and that is totally fine.
Do it as much as you like.
Like, as we were talking about, the prevalent thing in the Warhammer community that people have a really hard time letting go of in general is the idea that 40k just has a strict and linear and orthodox kind of history, of course.
Yeah.
Like, things either are canon or they aren't. Things are retconned and they aren't canon anymore, all that. But this is something regularly espoused on the internet as, like, gospel. People love telling others what is and isn't canon based on what they've heard or read or saw in some internet meme or saw in some awful garbage internet series with the talking golden skeleton. And it is, of course, like, an extremely unflexible way to look at 40k. But the thing I wanted to mention that I love Codex Compliance series, that I love about your series, is the flexibility of your content. Like, you can highlight the old quote-unquote retconned material and bring it back into the light and show the different interpretations of 40k throughout the years. But by doing so, like by highlighting something that hasn't been talked about for years, you're effectively helping in sort of recanonizing like this stuff in the minds of the viewers. Like, you're encouraging the idea that 40k canon is in the eyes of the beholder, and that 40k lore is, for the most part, never really retconned. It's simply ignored and forgotten about. So if, say, someone was to find something absolutely hilarious that they really wanted to include in their tabletop army through one of your videos, like, as you just said, that Inquisitor in question, for example.
Yes.
And then,
true Inquisitor.
If some straight-laced lore purist goes up to that person and asks them, that's the retcon, right? Please tell them that it sure fucking isn't retcon to me, and then proceed to quote to them the entirety of the Star Child theory from the old Realm of Chaos books until they explode.
And then we can hit them with a book. No, that's exactly what you need to do.
No, I mean, I love the... I think it's really funny, like, how much of this stuff just is still, like, technically canon, or just hasn't been explicitly done, and everyone always treats it like, this stuff isn't canon, or the things that people think are canon. Like, one of the things from the Warhammer Adventures stuff is how people are saying, how can they deal with Slaanesh? Because that's all about sex, and you go, it's not.
Slaanesh is literally only about sex. It's so weird.
Because people think that Slaanesh is, like, all, like, dicks and tits everywhere, but Slaanesh is the god of excess and pleasure.
Yeah.
Like...
You know what's really pleasurable? A Subway burgered king.
Exactly. Slaanesh would sit there eating that.
Slaanesh literally would just sit on a throne eating a Subwayed burgered king.
Yeah.
And just be like, you know what? And then on their 50th watch of, like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a good movie. Or
Die Hard.
Die Hard. Yeah. The Prince of Excess has taste.
Yeah.
Too much. Mm-hmm. And just sitting there stroking a really soft cat for, like, a week. That's completely...
soft cat.
Yeah.
A really soft
cat.
Yeah, like, heretically soft.
Because I think people forget that, like, Warhammer is generally pretty PG-13, so...
Yeah, it is.
So they'll do violence, but they won't necessarily show things like sex. The most explicit use of Slaanesh sex stuff I can remember is in the novel Fulgrim, and even then it's more implied than anything else.
No, you don't want to know. You want to know where people got this idea that Slaanesh is all about sex? Because I know who is behind that. Except,
it's that one book, isn't it?
It is! It's fucking Inquisitor by Ian Watson!
How old is that book?
It's from... Is it 90? I think it's 90. It's the first 40k novel ever. And Ian Watson thus had full reign to do whatever the fuck he wanted. And he wanted to write an erotica with 40k layers on it.
I mean, honestly, the internet does that now, so we don't need published books.
This is true, but the way Ian Watson does it is just... it's incredibly disturbing. No,
okay.
It isn't.
It's okay. I haven't read it, so I'm trying to glean.
Just say a random fetish that you can think of, and it probably is in the book. Like,
well, you told me, isn't that where Mother Gullet comes from?
Yeah, absolutely. That's where it was first mentioned, like as a something that was really like whoa. So there is this story about Mother Gullet, and she's like a patron saint amongst the assassins for having done this amazing thing, swallowed the blood.
Amazing thing, yes.
Yeah, and
she went and vowed a child and was like, ha.
And
this is so fucked.
This was in connection to a scene where all of the male characters was watching the one assassin, the one female in the group, transform from a naked woman to a gene stealer, which made them somewhat turned on.
Okay.
It was kind of horrible.
This
In the
sounds...
41st millennium, there is only Voran transformation porn.
Yep. And of
That's pretty weird.
towards the end of the book, they go to the Eye of Terror, and of course they go to a Slaaneshi planet, and there is like a giant city of dicks just made of. They like he specifically says that it is a city of genitals and different orifices. And it's kind of
I'm just going
horrid.
to the bank. You open up the urethra and stroll on in. Kathy's sick today because she got down with some cock rot and she had to pop out. But it's okay because Dave's there and you're all right.
You know
with
why?
Dave.
You know why you wrote that? Because obviously GW's head office is in Nottingham. And
that is the city of dicks.
Yeah, a city full of dicks and orifices is Nottingham. So
yeah, that was. I think that's where people first got the idea that Slaanesh is all about sex, due to fucking Ian Watson, writer of Orgasm Machine. That is his other most popular book.
Really? Because oh my god, that is the best title.
It is an actual title for a book, and I'm not surprised.
I wonder what it's about.
After having read The Inquisitor, we actually looked up what other stuff he had written, and of course, Orgasm Machine. Naturally.
Oh god.
I feel like I
really
should
want to change my internet handle to Orgasm Machine. Sniper, Orgasm Machine and Wib play.
I think it might give the wrong impression, although it may improve our SEO.
Oh god, that's fantastic.
Oh shit.
Of course, though, this whole sex thing was memed to death through internet people, including myself.
Yeah.
I am to blame for...
It's okay. We've all pushed a meme too far.
Lucius is the worst character in the entire
It's
series.
your boy. It's your boy.
Terrible character. Can't wait to kill
I
him.
know. You just need to put more dicks on him. It'll be fine. Just more dicks. That solves every problem. Apparently.
Yeah.
Just have it next time you see him, rather than go for the sex, just have him going fucking crazy on a fidget cube.
Yeah.
It's pretty cute.
But, yeah.
I can see that so perfectly. Stroking a really fluffy cat.
Yeah.
Freakishly hard. Just I love this cat, it's so fluffy.
Or he's gained a lot of weight because he's only been eating cheesecake sprinkled in cocaine.
Okay, don't shame the boy. Cheesecake sprinkled in cocaine sounds like the best, worst thing in the world.
Oh shit. You know the worst part is I've gone down this chain and I know what the next topic is.
Is it? Do you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, we should, because we have been going for quite a while.
Yeah.
We should probably move on to the main kind of bulk of the podcast.
Yeah. Okay, so...
But we have got one last bit of news to
It's not the funnest news, which is why we want to be kind of brief with it, but we also want it as an acknowledgement.
Yeah.
So, as some of you may be aware, John Bain, TotalBiscuit, passed away a week or so ago, and I just wanted to say, might not have always agreed with him, but what he did for the YouTube community and just gaming and things like that was unmistakable and very appreciated, and I don't know, I'll miss the guy.
Yeah. He's a part of the internet landscape that's gone now, and it's sad to see him go.
Yeah. So, bringing that down to a somber tone for a moment, but the thing, I don't think he would I don't think he'd want anyone to get maudlin about it, so we're just gonna carry on.
Yeah.
And just wanted to acknowledge that and throw that out there.
Yeah.
And we'll now move on to...
We'll start talking about dicks again.
Yeah,
it's
we'll
fine.
start talking about nonsense again.
Talking about that. We'll talk about Nottingham, the city of dicks and orifices, where if you want to catch a bus in there, you have to bring lubricant first.
Yeah.
Because the bus won't get in otherwise.
Oh, God.
Just sliding all the way to Nottingham. There we go, I brought it back up.
Masterful segue.
Thank you.
So, Bruva Alfabusa.
The Alpha Bus.
The Alpha Bus. What have you been doing recently?
Oh boy. Okay. So I have, for the most part, just been editing, non-stop editing of episode 26 because it needs to be released at some point.
Yeah. Also, comments. Please don't harass Alpha Bus about it. We all, I do want to kind of harass you about your videos because when are we getting a new Nuzlocke run? I want a new Nuzlocke run, Alpha. I don't TTS, what the fuck's that? Nuzlocke. What the fuck, man?
Oh, perhaps... Oh, I gotta mention, I actually, like, back in the day, now it's probably, like, I don't know, when did I even conclude that Nuzlocke thing? Like,
God, it was like a year ago, I think. Yeah. And you know what? Every time I see whatever, I don't even know the name of the actual Pokemon. Every time I see that one Pokemon, I just scream Hydro Tank.
Walrein, I think is the name. Or Sveal. Sveal, of course. Yeah.
Pretty sure it's Hydro Tank.
Yeah, well, it started... yes, it does.
I mean...
yes, I think because yours in Pokemon Go was called Hydro Tank.
Yeah. That's the first one I caught. I freaked out.
He's my boy. But since
I share him.
Since we're talking about that, I wanted to mention that back then, I actually, like, bought a custom-made 3DS that can record directly to the computer, because earlier I just used an emulator.
If you've already got the game but you have no way to record it, that's completely okay.
Well, I do have a way to record it, right? Yeah, exactly. Now I have a way to record it, but the thing is, I also really wanted to be able to play with the exact same. Like, I wanted to kind of do I don't know where this idea came from. It was probably Dawn of War, like Dark Crusade, for instance. Because you know how you can bring an honor guard with you to a new skirmish in Dark Crusade? I wanted to do that, but with Pokemon. In that I'm moving from region to region in the Pokemon world, and I'm bringing with me an honor guard, of course, consisting of Hydro Tank. So I would reset him to level 5, but he would still have his abilities and his he had evolved into Walrein and stuff like that. I would keep him as he was, except reset him to level 5 through cheating, and then I would play the Nuzlocke as it is, but with my bestest friend with me, which is... To
be fair, I remember the whole time watching that playthrough, just like, anytime Hydro Tank took damage, I would sit there and go, Hydro Tank cannot die.
Yeah, and that...
if he dies, the Let's Play is fucking over.
I think that
you have to delete YouTube, that's it.
I think that fear would be, like, exacerbated immensely if I bring him along on another adventure, Because...
I mean, he got out of that one so unscathed.
He is, a fully evolved giant fucking walrus made of ice, so naturally he is a survivor, but... Like, not even a polar bear can properly eat a walrus.
No. I probably could, but that's me.
I don't know, I think you'd have trouble eating a walrus.
If it was a burgered walrus, maybe.
Burgered walrus!
Next,
I'll pop down to the Burgered King and see if they've got some burgered walrus.
Next, Snipe and Wib eat a thing. Snipe eats a walrus.
Eats an entire fucking walrus.
In real time. Not sped up at all.
The video is 6 hours long and it stops every 30 minutes so I can cry.
I'm going to look this up now. Walrus meat buy on Google.com. There's a video called Eating Decomposing Walrus.
Okay, so you found my secret YouTube channel right there, but I want to eat a live one.
A live one?
While it's still alive? That's fucked up.
Please cook your walrus well done, warns health officials.
Walrus, the chicken of the sea.
Please cook your walrus well done is the title of this podcast. I don't care.
Yes, we did it.
I was hoping a city of dicks would be up there, but no. Please have your walrus well done.
Immediately be demonetized. Immediately.
Yeah, immediately. To be fair, so will the walrus title, but that's just YouTube right now.
That's a warning.
It's a public safety announcement, YouTube, you fucks.
You'd be shocked to know that whenever we name a podcast something like Will Smith's Dick and Balls, they always get demonetized straight away.
Shocking.
That's strange.
But
sorry, Alpha, we're talking about like your videos.
Yeah, I'm gonna move on now.
And how you're most well known for that amazing Nuzlocke video.
Don't worry, I'll do it someday when I'm not doing fucking episode
26.
Dude, honestly,
it's my purgatory currently.
Massive props to you. You have been killing yourself over that thing.
killing me slowly.
Crazy man.
It feels pretty good when I
killing you slower than eating it like a full walrus. It's just it's terrible.
But I have also been playing a bit of local multiplayer as of recently because I've actually had friends over for once.
Friends? What those?
Yeah, I don't
know.
I think
I think it's DLC.
Oh, okay.
But I did bring them over, these nebulous organisms that we call friends. And I played mostly, only Switch games at that point because, I don't know, Switch, the new couch experience.
It's a good party game.
Yeah.
And
the drummer Matt's ears pick up a new couch experience, you say.
I'm listening.
Drummer Matt's just going to show up your door, Alpha, and be like, so, can you describe your couch? In fact, no, let me in, I want to see it.
I will recommend some integral parts of the couch experience with the Switch. I first played the Oser, the Insult Simulator, which exists on Switch. Have you played this?
I think we have it, but I don't think we've played it.
Yeah, we have it. I've never got around to playing it, though.
It's really fun. The game is like, you play off against each other and you try to construct the most scathing insult you can get out of a randomly pre-generated list of words.
Okay.
And
good.
Yes. While you can...
Fly on you meet Paloina.
While you can end up with like pretty real and horrid insults, like... your beloved auntie supports the Nazis is one. Or
she ain't my beloved auntie no more.
Most often, the most effective insults are like, "Shut up, phone." Okay,
that's a really good insult, actually. It's like, sir, I'm gonna have to ask you to come with me. We want to arrest you on suspicion of stealing a website, and you go, "Shut up, phone." And then that stuns the police officer who's arresting you, so you can get an attack of opportunity.
Yeah, you can smash him in the face.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So,
gameplay tips with Snipe.
But, I was... so, most often, the most effective insult in this game are, like, incredibly long and barely make sense, and most of the time, they're actually pretty funny because they don't make any sense at all. So you just sit and try to squeeze in as many words as you can make without, breaking the sentence like grammar. Like if you can't really like get it to work, like the words like put it together in a sentence. Like if the grammar is wrong, you lose health, but. And then, you just land insults on each other, and the health-consuming insults you take, you need to decrease your opponent's health before you do. Yeah! Holy shit.
Take a breath.
That didn't go very well. But another game I played is called Invisiballs on the Switch.
Okay.
Okay.
You play an invisible ball that bounces between different walls, and you're supposed to keep a lookout for where your ball is, while also trying to find and surprise destroy the other players, who, too, are invisible balls.
Okay.
So it's a game of ball destruction.
Yes.
Invisible ball destruction.
It was actually pretty fun to play, like, local couch multiplayer. That was recommended. Also, ARMS. I played ARMS. We played ARMS. Have you heard of this?
I have arms.
Yes, I am aware of ARMS.
ARMS exist.
Yes, they do.
In this context, however, it's a third-person fighting game. But the arms of the characters like fly forward like projectiles. Think rocket.
They're
punch,
like on springs and stuff, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a bit weird looking.
And my friend actually played a character called Spring Man, or Spring Boy, as we kept calling him, without realizing what his actual name was, but whatever. Spring Boy is better. And he had this sudden random mastery of the game that happened, like, apropos of nothing. It completely wreaked havoc with my knight. He just kept winning and winning and winning. Even as I changed character, I had no idea what the fuck he was doing to beat me so many times. And in the end, he made up the arbitrary rule that the only way for me to claim full victory over him is if I beat him 3 times in a row. Like 3 different matches.
I would have actually just turned around and savagely beat him in person, because that's how I win.
How'd you like these arms? Snipe and Wib Play would like to say, as an entity, do not punch your friends in the face. Also, don't punch police officers. You will get arrested.
The Alphabus as an entity condones punching faces. Do it all the time.
You have it. The Alphabus as an entity. That's the most ominous fucking thing. Just like, whoa, what's that sound? Oh, Susie, don't look. It's the Alphabus. Just coming along.
Inception noises.
Yeah, just arms flying left, right, and centre. That's the noise of the Alphabus coming to punch your friends and police officers alike.
But I could not beat him until 4 a.m. By the way,
oh shit!
When I used a character called Ribbon Girl, who incidentally is the character that is beating the shit out of Spring Boy on the cover of the game. So that's pretty poetic, I suppose. But
yeah,
it was still a pretty traumatizing experience. Also, I played Soulstorm for a bit to grab screenshots, and then I immediately closed it down again. Oh, and for the last thing is I have Cookie Clicker running in the background constantly as I edit things. I know I'm like really behind on that, but I don't know. It's pretty...
honestly, I have a weird affection for clicker games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, there's one called Adventure Capitalist that I fucking adore, despite anything that you might know about my personal ideology. You would think I would despise it with every core of my being, but I just love this thing, and I like, it's one of those games I have to uninstall because otherwise it'll just be there whilst I'm doing everything else. And because of that, it's like I looked on Steam and I've got like over 100 hours on it, and I'm like, I should just not have these games open. There's something weird that like itches a certain. It's like it scratches a certain itch in my brain.
Yeah, I can totally...
I hate it.
I can totally relate. Like, suddenly you've got to fucking spend your time clicking away at something for a while. Or, you know, adjusting your... whatever it is. In Cookie Clicker, you buy your fucking chance makers or something that you've been saving up for throughout the last 5 days. It not too time consuming, but it's still, it still grabs a chunk of time that you actually need to work with.
Yeah. It's like, technically, they shouldn't take any time from you. But they do.
Yeah. You just don't realize.
They're sinister, and we should probably purge them. Yeah. I say this loving them.
I'm currently sat clicking something. Yeah, well, I'm fairly sure Paperclips was my game of the year last year, so I mean...
And that's basically a clicker game, yeah.
Oh, really?
So, Universal Paperclips?
Yeah, something like that. It's a good one.
Oh, I never played that one.
Yeah, no, get on it. It's good.
Don't start now.
No. It does actually have an end
Yeah,
as well.
It does have an end. And once it finished, I was like, right, cool. That was 2 days of my life where I did nothing else. But it's done now, and I'm not all consumed by it. So it's kind of a good one.
Yeah. By the way, I'm done now, so you can...
Okay.
All right.
Well, Drummer Matt, what have you been up to?
I don't have much to talk about. I was telling you guys earlier, so when we recorded last time, 2 weeks ago, I left for the UK the day after we recorded, and I got back yesterday. So I've been travelling around, but not had much chance to play games or anything interesting. A few bits and bobs to say quickly, but it won't be long.
That's fine.
If people have mentioned music recommendations before, for some reason they want our opinion on music, and I went to Slam Dunk Fest. Which,
how was that?
It was very good. It's it's like a touring festival on a bank holiday this last weekend in the UK, and there's like one in the south, one in the north, and one in the Midlands. And it's the same bands each day, so you just go to one of the days, whichever is your local. And usually, like, there's like 7 stages, and like I've been before years ago and like moved around stages. This year, I was just at the Scar stage all day, and it was amazing.
Yeah, who was playing? Because I remember you showed me like the lineup, and I was like, yeah, no, I'd stay there.
Yeah, the lineup. There was like the lineup on Scar stage. There was a local band who started, who were quite good. 3-piece punk band called Templeton Peck. They were the only. I was in Birmingham, and they were like, we're the only Brummy band here, so that was quite nice. Then there was Guttermouth, who are just aggressive American. They're famous for being offensive, but they're a bit older now, so a lot of the jokes just didn't really hit home. Bless them.
They're from that like 90s era of punk where they were kind of like, oh, we tell like jokes that the punchline is my dick is smelly, aren't we funny?
Yeah, but I mean, those two were like the sort of, you know, the first time we didn't really go for them. But after that, I recommend either seeing live or listening to any of the following bands. So there's King Prawn, Save Ferris, Cap Down, Zebrahead, The Skints, Goldfinger, Real Big Fish.
Yep, they're all good.
And I was like, yeah, I'm just... Because that was like the third biggest stage, and the two bigger stages had like other people on. But all the times were like in sync, so it wasn't like you could, in between two bands, go see someone else. So I was like, yeah, I don't want to miss any of those, so we're just going to be here all day.
How were King Prawn and Cap Down? Because they're two that I'd always wanted to see live, but never got around to it.
King Prawn, I've actually seen them before. And I've seen their old bassist did an acoustic guitar side project thing as well, so I've seen him as well.
I'm also sorry to everyone at home who doesn't care about ska music, but we're talking about ska music.
We don't talk about it often, but it's something that actually we both quite... Or me and Wib especially.
Ska is fine.
Snipe tolerates it,
I think. She says, having spent 10 years as a bassist in a fucking ska band.
But, yeah.
That's alright.
But they were very good. Cap Down were excellent. Zebrahead, bless them. They had the biggest crowd of the... They're not really ska. In fact, they're actively not ska. Because
they started in like an era when everyone was becoming a ska band, so they went, no, we're going to do rock rap instead, but not like new metal.
Yeah, exactly. They did have Real Big Fish's horn section on for one of their songs, which was good. Because, as we've probably mentioned before, any song in the world is improved by a brass section.
I have yet to see evidence for this not being the case.
So, but bless him, Matty, they have a rapping singer and then a singing singer. And Matty, the singing singer. Yeah. He was like horrendously ill, so he sang between an octave and so he sang sometimes like an octave lower because he couldn't hit any of the notes, and that was just about fine, but sounded a bit weird. But sometimes he couldn't even hit that, so it was like an octave and a half lower, so it just isn't the right note. And he kept at the end of each song being like, "Sorry." But he couldn't hear anything because his ears were bunged up. But they can't pull out on the gig because they've travelled all the way over from like the States to play, and they don't get paid if they don't play. So they're like, well, we've got to keep playing, so just deal with it, guys. Sorry. It's just like, oh, I feel your pain. But yeah, without dwelling too much, any of those bands I'd recommend checking out.
Ska is a music genre that originated in Jamaica in the late 1950s and was the precursor to rocksteady and reggae. Later, it became popular with many skinheads. The fuck?
Yes.
Yeah, kind of.
Not the bad ones, just people who had short hair.
There is actually a weird little subsect because of its origins. Like ska is generally very anti-racism. Like it's very. The whole black and white Czechs is all about black and white, like working together. That's where the Czech stuff comes from.
That makes sense.
That does make sense. I didn't know that. Huh.
Yeah, but because of the fact that it appealed to skinheads, there's this weird little subsect of like really racist skinheads that like ska and apparently have no self-awareness. It's really weird. It's like, you know where that music comes from, right?
Nazi punks, fuck off.
Yeah, pretty much. The only other thing I say, we were there because it was in Birmingham. We went to Birmingham Library, which sounds like a weird thing to say.
That sounds so fucking boring. They have books everywhere.
But
who gives a fuck if they're in Birmingham? I can go to the local fucking Derby book repository and read the same books. I'm just saying, that is so dumb.
It is an amazing building. It's like...
Do they charge you to get in?
Well, no, obviously, it's a library, it's free.
Public library.
Good, because I was about to say, if they charge you to get in, that's straight up like fraud. Because they have books everywhere.
It's just if you happen to be, it's just a really cool building. It's like quite tall, and inside is like, I don't know. It's just a cool building to go to if you fancy some culture.
Culture.
You gonna fucking go there? I'm plenty cultured. You ever been to the Cave of Mystery?
I've been to a Cave of Mystery, but not yours.
Okay, we're not talking about Okay, I was gonna totally drag you, and then I decided maybe I shouldn't do that because I know your girlfriend, and she's the most purest, wonderful person in the world.
This started off as an Overwatch reference, and it just got weird.
It always gets weird.
I played a board game while I was home, which I can recommend. Vikings Gone Wild. It's a deck building type thing. So you start with 10 cards in your deck.
Wait, a deck? Oh, I thought you were talking about go out back to build a deck. It was like Vikings.
Try and build a longbow, accidentally build a deck.
Yeah.
It can happen. Maybe if you roll really badly, you accidentally build a deck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
I don't know if you guys have played a deck building game. There's quite a few of them. You start with 10 cards in your deck. You draw a hand of 5, and some of them are currency or various things you can spend to buy more cards from the middle of the table, and then you put them into your deck. So then on the next turn, the next round, you then draw your hand from those cards as well. So as you're playing the game, your deck gets stronger and bigger.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, they're quite cool. There's quite a few of them. Dominion's one, quite a famous one, which is quite good. There's Penny Arcade did one of their board games they've done is a deck building one, and this is a Vikings themed one.
So how do you win and how do you lose?
There's
whoever has the biggest deck wins.
There's various cards you can buy. It's different in each. So this Vikings Gone Wild one, there's each of your turns you have a couple of missions. So one of the missions would be spend 3 gold this round on buying things, and you get a certain amount of victory points. And other ones when you buy certain items, you get a certain amount of victory points. So you could raid other people's because you're Vikings building up a town. You could raid other people's towns to get victory points, and then the first to 40 victory points wins, sort of thing.
Okay.
Do you get beads if your Vikings show off their tits?
What?
Is it because of Viking Mardi Gras?
Yeah, Girls Gone Wild. That's what it's obviously referencing. So I'm wondering if that's...
Yeah, there wasn't any tits or beads, in fact, involved.
That sounds like a house rule.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a good one. There's various expansions, and all these sort of games, the sort of marketplace where you can buy cards from, the centre of the table, you can set it up differently each game. So each game you can be slightly different in what cards you can buy and things. So it's quite good for replayability. Yeah, I enjoyed it. And finally, I don't know if you guys were going to talk about this, but I thought it was my fault, so I'd mention it.
Right.
I made you guys watch Swiss Army Man.
Oh yeah.
Which I mentioned before, probably a year ago, and said you guys should watch it, and you didn't, and I got fed up with you not watching it.
Isn't that a pretty good movie?
Yeah, it's surprisingly great considering what it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you? I'm guessing you haven't seen it. Alpha.
I have not, but I think I have heard about it. But do tell.
I don't. I really don't want to say anything about it. I think if you want to know, we can give you a bit of a heads up on it after the podcast, but because I don't want to spoil it for people, because it's the movie you need to go into knowing the least. But
I did want you to, because I mentioned it, and seeing as you guys ignored my advice, I'm assuming everyone else did. So I just want you to reiterate that everyone should watch it, at least for the experience, if nothing else.
Yeah, everyone watch Swiss Army Man. It manages to be something that is horrifying whilst also being oddly sweet
and also dramatically well made for saying its
budget
was $3 million or something ludicrously low, which for a film budget is nothing.
How the in-universe audio is worked into the soundtrack is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Genuinely, the artistry going into this film that is so
does not deserve it at
weird.
Jesus.
But it makes something that is a very unique film that I think everyone should watch at least once.
What year is it from?
2 or 3 years ago, I think.
Daniel Radcliffe and some other guy.
Daniel Radcliffe is one of the main people. So you get to see Harry Potter.
It's Harry P. himself.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna fight you.
The man himself.
You get to see Harry Potter's arse.
You do.
Finally.
Yeah.
It's very, very fuzzy butt.
His very fuzzy arse. Yes.
It's a very fuzzy arse.
Yeah. It's
and that's the movie. Just his bum.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not entirely wrong.
Harry Potter and the fuzzy ass.
Yeah, it's
But yeah, that
Daniel Fuzzy Butt Radcliffe.
That's my fortnight, pretty much. Apart from getting flights and travelling around and things. That's pretty much me done.
I guess that's a fair enough.
Okay.
So, Snipe and or Wib.
Wib, what have you been doing? Nothing as good as Drummer Matt, probably.
Probably not. I've actually spent quite a lot of it playing a shit ton more Destiny, but playing the PvP.
Okay.
Because
Destiny 2.
Destiny 2, rather, yeah. Because the PvP, like, even though I don't have the expansions, the PvP evens out all your levels and
Scaling.
stuff. It scales down,
Okay.
so I can play with like endgame people and not just get instantly fucking reamed, which is kind of nice. And I don't know, I think it's because they had an event on that was like the Iron Banner, where by playing the PvP you could get a lot of special gear that had like all this kind of wolfy trees, a very Nordic kind of aesthetic, and I kind of like that. As Snipe does as well, and I'm sure Alpha is sick of seeing, and sick of seeing people
anything.
who aren't from that place in the world fetishizing it. I'm sure you're utterly sick of seeing it.
Silence. Move on. Quick, move on.
But it looked cool, and I was like, so I want to try and unlock this stuff, and so I was doing that, and ending up like going, I actually really quite like the PvP.
Okay.
As I see as... normally I'd just cut this out, but I kind of want to mention that Snipe just spilt her coffee all down herself and nearly choked on it.
Oh, no. Fuck off! I hate you.
And was trying desperately not to make a noise whilst part choking, part...
Panicking.
Panicking.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was like... Okay, it's okay, laugh at me. I've got nothing else.
By the way, also, my silence was... could you repeat what was the what people fetishized again? Because I think I missed it somehow.
Oh, just it's a very kind of faux Nordic thing it's got going on. So it's
like the
knots and runes.
Yeah, knots and runes.
Tree,
like the kind of Yggdrasil, isn't the tree Yggdrasil the tree?
Yeah.
Like the world tree, all that kind of.
See, I can't say anything
alright.
because I
that
I
makes
want
sense.
like rune tattoos and shit.
Yeah. Which because I know how sometimes I get kind of sick of seeing Americans usually fetishizing British culture, which slightly irritates me sometimes because they're always wrong about things.
Yeah.
I just want a boy from England to look at me and be like, "All right, love, I do you for a can of special brew, yeah." It's just so romantic. I mean, I don't know what he's saying, but ooh.
Honestly, I think I fetishized that specific kind of culture that you just mentioned.
Well, that's fine because that's actual British culture.
Yeah, we're not all from fucking Oxbridge.
This all. Oh yes, we're all very.
Fucking
We're all
Norwich.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Okay.
We're all educated. We can all speak clearly, and we all love the Queen.
My favorite British city to fetishize is Norwich. Definitely. I think it might be because Thunder is from Norwich, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't even know what Norwich is. It's probably a city.
It's
from what I can hear.
It's
so aggressively
southeast
fine.
from here.
Okay.
It's in Norfolk.
Norfolk.
It's from Norfolk, yeah.
Norfolk.
Norfolk. I can't pronounce it.
Norfolk.
It's fine. All British place names are spelt in such a way, spelt and pronounced in such a way to confuse foreigners.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Speaking as a foreigner, it is the fucking worst. You guys are terrible.
Like we live in Derby, but it's spelt Derby. Like
Yeah, really. I was like, oh yeah, where are you moving to? Derby, and everyone laughed at me.
But we will get aggressively angry if you pronounce it as Derby.
Yeah.
I know. I was like an 11-year-old girl. Like, where are you going? Derby? You fucking what?
Part of the
Yeah.
British
And then
initiation rights. You gotta pronounce these
Yeah,
city names
they gotta laugh
correctly.
at you, and then they gotta throw Yorkshire puddings at you,
But
and then they just literally thrust like sausages and mashed potatoes in your
Steak and
face,
kidney
screaming
pudding.
bangers and Ugh. Ugh. You guys eat
I mean, you're
things
not
that
wrong.
should not be eaten. It's the worst.
yeah, British cuisine is not fantastic, but I love it.
It's like my mum was obsessed with dripping,
Dripping?
which is literally just lard.
Pretty
And that's
much.
like that's like shit you hear from
meat
medieval
flavour lard.
fucking. Okay, no, like it is literally grease.
Yeah. Use it to make gravy. It's great.
Don't fucking no. Shut up.
But
Drama,
sometimes
you don't
when-
get a, you don't get a fucking. You have no horse in this race.
But when people are very poor and they're working down to
Yeah.
mill,
Yeah, walking down to pit. Yeah, that's fine.
you
But
know,
the thing
they've
is,
got to-
it's 2018 and people are still eating this shit.
yeah, I know. I don't think
but
anywhere
we-
near as much as people
We
used
have like Pound Stretcher now, where you can go and just get like hamburgers or cans of like mechanically recovered meat.
Yeah.
You don't have to eat just grease.
That's true.
Do you have lard strips over there?
No, I hope not.
I think it might be Swedish, but I have never thought of it as Swedish.
Honestly, every time I see
it's
something,
like an ice pole that's frozen lard, and you gotta snap it off.
everything I see about Swedish cuisine terrifies me.
I
to be
hate
quite
banana
frank.
pizza.
In Sweden, it's called Isterband.
Easter bun.
And that's apparently pronounced as large strips, according to Wikipedia.
Okay.
It is a coarsely ground, lightly smoked sausage from Sweden. It is made of pork, barley, groats, and potato.
Sounds pretty great to me.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too bad.
I honestly thought it was literally just a frozen strip of actual grease.
It has a weird, kind of slightly sour taste, though, which I tend to attribute to the lard somehow.
Yeah.
Nope, don't like it. Don't like it.
I was talking about Destiny, wasn't I?
Oh yeah.
I prefer to talk about lard strips. So how is Destiny like a lard strip? In a way that it's kind of sour for some reason.
I'm still enjoying. I'm still enjoying it in that way that I'm enjoying it, playing it loads, but have so many criticisms of it that it's kind of hard to recommend.
I think it really helps because you're playing a lot of it with Longfang.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot with our friend Longfang, and having kind of fun doing that because any game is better with friends,
Of course.
And yeah, I have been quite enjoying the PvP, and I played quite a bit of that because it's very quick, and no one uses any typing to talk to each other. So whether it's a good game or a bad game, no one's been salty. No one said a damn thing. I am so happy about that.
Honestly, that's the nice. One selling point to me for a multiplayer game is no one will fucking talk to me.
Yeah. If you want to talk to people, you can choose to do that and talk to your friends while you're playing, but that's it. You don't have to listen to some fucking 13-year-old from Wisconsin insinuating awful things about your mother.
Yeah, I don't have to listen to a 13-year-old from Wisconsin telling me things that I already know.
Well, yeah.
Damn it, Craig.
Why do you know? But yeah, so I've been playing a lot of that.
Yeah, a 13-year-old called Craig from Wisconsin has stolen my identity. Yeah. It's horrible.
So yeah, I haven't really done much apart from that, honestly. But I did yesterday. I did play a little bit of Space Hulk Deathwing Enhanced Edition, which I mentioned earlier.
How is the enhanced parts?
Okay, so they have changed up a few little bits the way the game plays. In the first level, I don't remember being attacked by cultists at all. I just remember it being Gene Stealers. But...
I got a good bit further in than you did.
Oh yeah, you do get attacked.
It takes a while.
Yeah, I think it's level 2 you get attacked by cultists.
I think so. Takes
but the first level of it you didn't previously. I'm sure. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I don't remember it. And they're in this one. I know you do certainly get attacked earlier. Yeah. So they did mix that up a little bit. It reminds me a little bit of the what was it called? The Game of the Year sort of edition of Dark Souls 2. I forgot its name now. Scholar of the First Sin, where they rearranged enemy placements and things and that. Reminds me a little bit of that. And the game runs, at least on our machine, really fucking well now.
But we have got an entirely new machine. So...
the problem was because the old version was optimised for fucking shit and would do weird things like run at a worse frame rate when you lowered the settings.
It was really strangely optimised.
It would manage to do weird shit so screen tearing is supposed to happen when it's rendering too fast, so it tears. It would do things like having a really shitty low frame rate and would tear at the same time, which I've only really seen from weird DOSBox things that weren't set up correctly.
Yeah.
It was just really badly put together, and it would just sort of put me off even attempting to kind of play it, aside from gameplay things, because unfortunately now playing it, because I played a bit on stream last night, unfortunately streaming it reminded me why I didn't play any more sort of gameplay wise, which is that I'm sure it's fun in multiplayer, because everything is fun in multiplayer. Co-op multiplayer I fucking love in any context. I just love co-op games. But yeah, so I haven't played Deathwing co-op yet, so I assume it's better there. But I was playing it and I was like, you know what? This whole thing just feels really clunky and slow, and I get why, it because it's it's supposed to feel like you're a slow Terminator against fast Gene Stealers, but I don't know. There's just something about it that I just find wholly unsatisfying to play.
Well, I mean, I played a good bit of it, and it does feel I mean, I don't know if the clunkiness is a design point, like something they went for.
I'm pretty sure it is, yeah.
Because, like, in Space Marine, when you were running, you felt heavy. You know what I mean? It wasn't unpleasant, but you felt like this big hulking fucking Marine. Yeah. Whereas in fucking Space Hulk, it's just kind of like, I'm not optimized well enough to work this proper. I mean, it's not optimized.
I think there's a couple of factors. One is that
I do like how you can look up and see your psychic cord. And, like, that's a fun touch, though.
Like the fact that that you're kind of slow and sluggish, I think is that they're just trying to evoke the same thing as like the old survival horrors of kind of making it a little bit difficult to do what you want to do to make it feel more tense when you're being attacked. I get that. I've never really liked that, but
that
I
always just
it.
made me angry.
Yeah, that's always...
like, I could have gotten away, but the controls are so busted.
Yeah, like, I know that works for some people and makes it feel tense, but it's always just annoyed me, and so that's why I've never really been the biggest fan of survival horror.
Yeah.
That, and it's super scary.
It's super scary. I don't mind it being scary. It doesn't bother me. The other thing is that the game is made by the people that made I Divine Cybermancy, which is the most obtuse, hard to get into game.
Yeah, it doesn't explain many things.
It doesn't explain shit about its universe, doesn't explain shit about how the game works, which this game kind of doesn't as well. There's so many little touches that the game doesn't really explain whilst you're playing it. So it's like, oh yeah, by the way, like, yeah, some walls you can bust through. What walls are those? Experiment, find out.
That's interesting.
Are we going to label what they are? Nah. Like, you just have to kind of intuitively realize what walls you're supposed to bust through. And again, it's one of those, I kind of get what they're trying to go for, but all those things just kind of, they make me realize I'm playing a video game rather than immersing in it, you know? So it's just not a game for me, but I really want to love it because it looks great, and I love that it references, like, oh, we're going to talk about shit from the Heresy. And, like, it's like, games don't normally do that. The 40k games don't really touch anything to do with the Heresy at all.
I will say there is a really cool part where... Do you mind mild spoilers?
I literally don't care.
You come across, like, a dead Dark Angel.
Yeah, I've seen that.
And it's just like, this is cool.
Because it's a pre-Heresy Dark Angel in black.
Yeah, because you mind meld with him, basically. And it's just like, that's really cool.
Isn't that the one where it busted when you played through it, and the camera, where you were supposed to be seeing from his first-person perspective...
Oh, it was right up his arse. Oh, it was the dick cam.
It was the dick cam, because you could see the little...
you could see the little kind of like...
The Roman
leather flaps.
Yeah, the leather flaps flapping around the camera, and they're, like, around the waist.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it basically, when my boy did his psycho voodoo to have a kind of look into this guy's memories, it was just like, so apparently maybe he was just so short that he came up to my Marine's dick.
No, he had the cock sight.
He had the cock sight.
You know what?
That's even better.
You know what?
The cock sight.
I'm kind of disappointed that, you know, they went the politically correct route by having, you know, a psyker look into his mind instead of just having them eat the corpse.
I know, right? I'm sick and tired of this bullshit. It's just, if you're not having your Marines eating hamburgers and having flashbacks to standing in fields for fucking 14 hours a day, it's just not canon.
I like how that's just one of those bits of lore that Games Workshop it almost feels like they're ashamed that they wrote. Because they reference it so infrequently, but I think they're scared to wreck on it. You know?
I was thinking of like the White Scars on their jet bikes, constantly eating bugs and having flashbacks to just like hanging out in trees and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
also, the acid spit thing is also
the Betcha gland.
Category.
Yeah, that is so weird.
Like, technically, they can like slowly eat through metal. Like,
that's if they get captured. It's like, just aren't they strong enough to just go? Boop, I'm fine.
Probably.
Now I've got new bracelets. Teehee.
What if he loses his arms?
Well, then they won't be able to train him up by his
arms. Well, then Calgar can kick them to death. With his one leg.
But I have to say about Space Hulk, I think the game is aesthetically the best of like all of
absolutely.
Them. Like I still feel like I am, of course, of the opinion, but I'm pretty biased that Dawn of War 2 is the best 40k game still. Space Marine...
if you want to be wrong, that's your choice. I'm joking.
Space Marine, of course, is really, really good, but aesthetically, it's kind of bland, I feel.
It's a bit
It's
generic,
quite drab looking.
It's accurate, but it's so samey throughout the entire game. But Deathwing does that completely. Like they fucking hit it out of the park with the different ships. Like due to it being a space hulk, they make full use of the fact that the players go through different kinds of ships from different time periods with different kinds of aesthetics. I feel that is really good. I just kind of wish they had a Xenos ship in there somewhere. That I feel that would have been cool. Like the fucking cherry on the cake.
Yeah, no, I think that's the thing. Like the certain elements of the game are so interesting and good, and I want to love it. It's like one of your squad has got like the Deathwatch insignia on it. They don't like dwell on it. It's just he has the Deathwatch arm because he'd served in the Deathwatch, and it's like that's cool that's in there, because that's for anyone that knows what that is going, hey, that's rad, but it doesn't like lampshade it and go, oh hey, by the way, this is the cool thing that I have, which is so easy to do.
I will say I think my favourite part about that is the environmental design, because it is so 40k.
Yeah,
it's absolutely. Just so huge and busted and grim.
I will say,
it's so fucking.
I kind of feel though that the environments are far better as environments than levels.
Yes, they are.
Because the level design, like the actual physical way the spaces are connected together, are kind of confusing, but not in a way that is like it is sort of satisfying to navigate. It's just, oh, okay, so this thing's actually blocked off. Okay, I've got to walk around, and you kind of just end up going down dead ends all the time. But it's not like I don't feel tense about it or upset or like anything. It's just
you sit there and go, fuck, I have a stamina bar.
You're just like, oh, okay, I've got to run all the way back, and my stamina bar lasts for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's always an issue when it comes to just level design. Either you go for aesthetics or you go for good level design. Like either you get Half-Life or you get Deathwing, I guess.
Yeah, and I think like it feels like if they were just as environments, like the way they fit together makes perfect sense. Like canonically, yes, this is probably what it would be like. Yeah. But as it needs to be a video game as well, and that sort of thing. Again, it's like it's not a bad game. It's just all these little tiny little things of how it feels a little bit off just add up to me just sitting there going, I'm not enjoying this.
Yeah. Meanwhile, in Half-Life, you got a back box smashing room for some reason that is only there for you to get through, and it's it's good game design, but it doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah,
this is where we keep our smashy boxes.
Look, Valve were really proud of that physics engine they wrote.
Oh yeah.
They needed to show it off, and I mean, at least it was a video game. Valve aren't really fans of making video games anymore.
Yeah. So sad.
Which is sad, but...
it is.
But yeah, so Space Hulk Deathwing. I imagine if you can get a group of people together, then you can have a lot of fun with it, so...
Absolutely.
But yeah, on your own, if you're only going to be playing it on your own, I don't know if I could recommend it. But if you did buy the original, you get the enhanced edition for free, so maybe give it a shot again if you played it before and got pissed off with its optimization.
Still a bit fucky, but...
The only other thing I have to mention is that I did finish reading iRobot.
Good.
The Isaac Asimov novel.
Well, you've done more than David Cage.
I was going to say, it's going to be interesting to watch people playing through Detroit Become Human and see how David Cage does the same stories but worse, because he's David Cage. And is a bad writer. He met
Ellen Page.
He did meet Ellen Page, and then
he made a nude model of
her.
Then
accidentally his company made a nude model of her, and then it got leaked online, and then he ended up in legal trouble from Ellen Page.
Yeah, he still met her though.
Jesus,
fucking.
David Cage.
What even our quantum dream? But anyway, iRobot. I can recommend it. It's a little old fashioned at times.
Well, it's from like, I don't know, the 1920s.
The stories were written over a long period of time because it's like a collection of short stories with an overarching kind of theme, none of which are anything to do with the Will Smith movie, I'd like to point out.
Good.
Then why bother reading it, Matt?
You mean there wasn't a story about Converse?
There was not, no.
It has been so long since I've seen iRobot. All I can remember is that one shot where they have Jude Law running and then he turns to the side and you're like...
That's AI.
That's shit, that's even worse! Really?
Yeah.
Oh no! The movie was so bad, I thought it was a different movie.
Yeah. That's
that time when he like his enemy is basically a spider from the waist down. That's iRobot.
That's a boss from Dark Souls? What?
No, like a mechanical spider from the waist down.
Oh, that's Wild Wild West.
I'm trying not to.
Wiki Wild West. John West, Desperado.
Did you say John West?
Yeah. It was John West. Just like, hey, what's your name? John West.
Yeah, but it was Jim. It was Jim though.
No, it was John West.
But I was going to say the best part. Maybe it's Jim West. I don't fucking know.
No, it is Jim West.
Is it Jim West? Okay.
That's the bit I'm upset about.
Okay. Fine.
I'm sorry that you're such a Will Smith movie purist.
Anyway, iRobot. Good book. Can recommend reading. Interesting thing about it though, a bunch of the stories contained therein are about a pair of guys who like test out robots called Powell and Donovan, and they behave like an old, bitter married couple in a sexless marriage. It's really weird because like these and like their dialogue is super cheesy, so they'll say things like "jumping Jupiter" and things because it was like written.
Oh my god, that's the best.
They were written in like these stories were written like between the 1940s and 1950s. So like sometimes the dialogue's a bit cheesy and it's kind of fun. But yeah, these pair like hate each other and they do behave like a married couple. Like how they bicker and snipe at each other. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
And also very interesting to see how so much modern sci-fi has riffed on the concepts of Asimov. Because obviously he's the originator of a lot of robot kind of themes, and how he played with these seemingly airtight laws of robotics.
Yeah.
And sort of would play with them and go, so how could a robot cause harm to someone if certain things are met? It's interesting. I can recommend reading them. I've heard some of his other novels quite good as well.
Speaking of Isaac Asimov, have you read the like short story "The Last Question" by him?
I have not. No.
It is really good, and I would highly recommend it. It's basically the question of how entropy can be reversed. And this question being asked by different people in different time periods. The first one is in 2061, and they have like this massive computer, like that is like the size of a country or something. I don't quite remember. And due to this computer's processing power, it can more or less answer any question, except how can entropy be reversed. So there are like two guys who just sit down for like a beer or something, and they ask the computer that just for fun. And it basically says, no sufficient data for an answer. And then it skips over to some time in the future, where like a family asks the same question to their like newer version of this computer, like that is like the size of a planet. And they got like small iPhone things that they ask the question to, and it connects directly to that computer, and still can't answer. Then it goes further into the future, and then it just goes further and further and further and further. And it just gets more and more like outlandish how far technology has evolved, to the point where in the end people are basically not people anymore. They have become like one singular entity. So there is this singular entity just called man or something, who asks
man.jpg.
Yeah. Who asks that same question to that computer, and which has now become basically like, I don't know, the size of the universe, but exists on a completely different plane. And in the end, I'm not gonna spoil it actually, because it's a really fucking good ending. Like, it's so, like, I don't know, it's so heartwarming. It's a very optimistic outlook on the future of mankind.
Okay. Yeah, see, that was the funny thing. Like, having like the back of the book that I have, because it's an old one. I got it from a charity shop, so the actual one I've got's from 1969.
Yeah.
And it's like on the back, it's like it's like bragging on the back, like this dark vision of a future from Asimov. And like I read it, and it's like, you know what? Actually, this is a mostly quite optimistic view.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there's problems, but he didn't seem to be a particular pessimist. It wasn't really a dystopia. It had elements of that, but then the real world does too, and it just felt like it was kind of like that.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Like, I do not think he was very pessimistic in general.
No.
Like, I haven't read a whole lot of his stories, of course. This is the one that I've read the most, and I get that impression.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll definitely track that down because I am interested to read more of his work.
You can find it online for free. So just do a Google, like The Last Question. Go and read it. Oh.
I'm gonna read that so hard.
And with that, that's me done. I haven't really done that much. So, Snipe, what have you been up to?
Oh, so much.
I don't know why I said that so weird. That was
a pretty weird.
It was like I was going for a thing and it just didn't work.
Yeah.
So I kind of backed out, but it was a bit awkward.
Yeah, you've made it awkward. Thank you.
Here comes the Burger King.
Burgering his way down from the burgered gates of his pearly palace of mayonnaise. I couldn't think of what else was pearly. I panicked about the pearly mayonnaise.
Tell us what you've been up to, please. Okay. Move on from this.
Finish this. Well, I've been playing some Jurassic Park Alive, which is probably the worst name for anything ever.
Yep.
Which is basically not very good Pokemon Go with dinosaurs.
I was literally about to say, is that like Pokemon Go? As a joke, but it actually is.
Yeah, really.
Do you stay alive? Is that the point of the game, to stay alive?
Well, you basically sit there on your ass and send out a drone that fires darts at dinosaurs randomly. You basically you strafe them with DNA extracting darts. It's horrible.
That is...
Okay.
It sounds like something from a horror movie written for dinosaurs.
Yeah, really. The drone cometh, careful as it pelts you with DNA darts. It's fucking weird. But no, it looks the same. It uses Google Maps. It's got basically Pokestops, Dino Stops, or whatever.
Okay.
And I don't know. They have a VIP service where you pay a monthly fucking subscription to get a few extra in-game money.
Given that this is a shitty movie tie-in thing, I half expect that whenever someone does subscribe to that, there's an alarm on the desk of the developers that goes off and they go, holy shit, we have a subscriber.
And then they get a phone call going, oh no, their kid pressed the wrong button.
And they're like, oh, we'll get one day.
But yeah, no, that's my biggest problem with it so far is it runs like garbage.
Oh.
It's really, Pokemon Go was a bit shaky optimization-wise, but it evened out okay. And I haven't played Pokemon Go in so long because I just got really angry because on Wib's phone it basically went, oh, you have to have this update. Oh, by the way, you can't ever play it again. Buy a new phone.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, fuck you.
Fortunately, I was sort of waning on playing it at the time, so it was a good thing to break that damaging habit.
Now with Fallout Let's Go Space Hulk tactics,
yes.
That has all those games have full Pokemon Go integration. It's kind of a bit of a pisser.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I've been playing that. And just been well, I guess I sure am darting these random Pokemon. So, Pokemon, dinosaurs, they're the same thing, let's be honest.
Capturing tyrants.
Oh, Tyrant is so cute, though. But yeah, so, your drone has battery, which basically means you have a time limit in which to extract DNA. Which is bullshit.
Hello, mobile games.
Yeah. So, you click on a dinosaur that's near you, and then that sends out the drone.
Oh.
And then it loads in, but it always chips off a bit of my battery because it takes so long to fucking load of my drone battery, so it's I get less time. So I go, and then you've got to hit them on specified little parts, and if you hit them outside of it, it's a wasted dart, which is basically a Pokeball. And then if you hit it within the big circle, you get a couple of points, and if you hit it in the middle, you get 12. And you have to get at least 50 to be able to recreate, basically clone a dinosaur from the DNA.
And that's capturing them.
Yeah. So, most of the time you won't be able to get 50, so you'll be 48.
So it's like Pokemon Go, except...
But you have to see the same Pokemon multiple times, get multiple good shots, then maybe you'll get one.
To even have a chance to catch it. That sounds like they looked at Pokemon Go and went, how can we make this worse?
Exactly. So yeah, I've just kind of been doing that. I've just kind of been idly playing it, because it's this is really bad. It's not very good.
Is it pretty new, or...?
I thought it came out with Jurassic World, I think.
Oh, okay, that's old.
It's just still on the App Store then.
My favourite part about it, and this is stupid, but my favourite part about it is that, in the old Pokemon Go, if your GPS freaked out and it just shot you 500 meters to the left in about 2 seconds, it's whoa! Yeah. Are you driving a car? I was no. And then you'd have to press OK, because it'd go, don't drive a car while you're playing Pokemon Go, and you'd have to say, yes, okay, I won't.
Yeah.
Well, the version for Jurassic World Alive is Chris Pratt holding up. He's like, you know the thing where he was like holding up his hands at the dinosaurs, being like, no, don't.
Where he's doing the training on the Velociraptors.
Yeah, it's literally just a promotional picture of Chris Pratt holding his hand out. It's like, whoa there, you're going too fast. Don't drive a car. Like, okay. Okay.
Here is Chris Pratt telling you, don't drive cars.
See, they missed a trick there. I was really hoping it was the from the original Jurassic Park. It was just like
Oh, that would have been amazing.
The whole time you're moving, it thinks you're moving fast.
To be fair, then I would literally spend all day throwing my phone across the flat. just like, poof,
you know,
and then like, okay, I gotta.
You know, when I was a kid, I watched that movie like I don't know, alone some night, and that scene for some reason scared the shit out of me.
It's a spooky noise, and plus, you know, Dennis Nedry was like, he was not a good Elvis impersonator.
He was not, no.
Scary. Okay, but it's because he put his head on an Elvis body.
Yeah.
For that part.
Jurassic Park was like a movie that I got super hyped for as a kid.
I love that.
And then I went to the cinema to watch it, and I got so scared by the raptors because as a child I got scared by everything. Like nowadays I'll watch, like, I basically actually am possibly dead inside. And it's only in the last few years, I think due to poor mental health, that I emotionally react to movies. So
well, okay.
So it's like I think my poor mental health is actually helping me be more healthy in that one particular regard. So, you know, swings and roundabouts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had to leave the cinema at the part where the raptors are chasing the kids and they're about to come into the kitchen and the breath goes on the window.
I loved that part as a kid. I was like, oh, I want a pet dinosaur.
That scared the shit out of me.
To be fair, that still looks good to this day.
I was like 7 at the time.
Jeez. Yeah,
you were like 17 at the time.
I was 27 at the time.
But no, you know what will help you about that scene? If anyone's scared about that scene, which no one will be, when they actually open the door and enter the two raptors, you can see a hand of one of the grips come out and lower its tail.
Yeah.
Look for it. It's there in the final edit.
Holy
and it's
shit.
just like... So yeah, that guy just goes and touches a dinosaur's butt and is fine.
Interesting.
So don't worry. Yeah, it's really
fine. Harmless.
It's normal. It's like, okay, dinosaur, you need to put your butt down. Like, okay.
So final thoughts on Jurassic Park Alive, or is it Jurassic World Alive?
Oh, it's Jurassic World Alive, yeah. If I Jurassic World Alive, I keep getting that song stuck in my head now. Every time I see Jurassic World Alive.
You get If I Ever Leave This World Alive stuck in your
but
head.
it goes If I Ever Jurassic World Alive instead, which makes no sense and is very, very bad.
Actually, I have a question about that. Is there any, like, because the first thing I assumed when you said Jurassic Park Alive is that you're supposed to survive, basically. Like, it was like you get chased by dinosaurs and you're supposed to run, basically, so you can see a dinosaur.
That would be a great fitness app.
That would be, like, I feel that would be interesting. I'm sure it's been done in some form, like...
Oh, there was a fitness game where you basically listen to a bunch of audiobooks and randomly it would be interrupted with, oh, there's zombies coming your way, run. And then you'd have to start running.
Okay.
And like you would get random pickups when you were out and stuff.
Is that any good?
It's sort of gamified.
I don't know. I watched a video, a Super Bunny Hop video, about fitness games, and like he said that it was fine, but it doesn't take into account elevation. So randomly, like you're on a really steep hill up, and it's like, oh yeah, you need to start running, and then you'll basically just die in real life.
Because it treats it as if you're on a flat plane. So yeah,
that's how zombies work. They ignore elevation completely.
That's true.
They're like Bethesda characters.
It's flying zombies.
It's flying. It's clipping through the earth. It'll still kill you. Oh,
and they're clipping forward in a T-pose.
Oh, God. No, okay, to be fair, if like you're out walking at night and you turn around and saw something just kind of flying towards you in a T-pose, you'd fucking run.
That's true.
Jesus, would I run?
Horrifying.
But yeah, Jurassic World Alive is not very good.
Okay.
Honestly.
But it has dinosaurs,
It has
so you're playing it.
dinosaurs, so I'm like, It has the Indominus Rex, which I'm pissed off about, because I don't give a fuck about these fake dinosaurs. And there's only like one I've seen with feathers so far, but... It's getting there. But yeah, that's pretty much... Oh, I've been playing a bunch of Cook Serve Delicious 2.
What?
Yes, that came in the Humble Monthly.
What?
So.
I did.
What's that?
It's like a it's like a oh shit. It's like a restaurant game where you gotta make dishes and like people come in and you got to make food and give it to them, and like you're ranked on how good the food is and if you get the order right and stuff like that. I'm massively oversimplifying, but that's basically
keeping a bunch of plates spinning of cooking. Make sure these things are in the oven and you're putting the right toppings on.
And then you're refilling the juice dispenser and like you can customize your own restaurant and stuff.
Oh, basically, it sounds like a game that basically is designed to freak anyone the fuck out who has problems with anxiety.
Yeah, it's really quite. I mean, like, it's really bad because like you get rush hour alerts.
Oh.
So you've got to prep everything, and then like, everyone comes in, and there's like a bunch of active order slots, and they're all like, "I want this, I want this, I want this," and you're like, then the timer starts running out, and you're like, "Fuck!" And it honestly initially reminded me a lot of when I was a waitress, which was honestly hell on fucking earth.
Yeah.
Oh god, the worst. But now I've got it down to like I will only ever serve ribs and steamed momos. Because
you can actually choose that as like an option in the restaurant thing.
Yeah, you can choose a bunch of food. You can like there's like modifiers for the day. So like it's a cold day tomorrow. So if you can buy stew, and like stew is quite easy to make, and there is like this if you keep a food in like basically in the ready area for a while, it decays and you can't serve it after a while. But stew stays good for a long time, and there's a lot of servings, and you get bonuses for like serving stew on cold days and things like that. It's quite in depth.
Please serve decayed stew and large strips.
Oh, the thing is, once the thing decays, it just disappears.
Oh no!
Just like real food.
Oh yeah.
Out of existence.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh shit.
I don't have.
Where's those tomatoes I left in the fridge? They're fucking gone.
I don't have disgusting rotten food in my fridge right now that I refuse to touch.
Exactly.
It has disappeared.
It has literally just evaporated.
Yeah. That's how
You've probably inhaled all that rotten chicken you're keeping.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
It doesn't exist. It has vanished.
It doesn't exist anymore. It's literally shifted dimensions. That's where it goes.
There's some dimension somewhere that's just full of all that rotten food.
Yeah.
Decayed dimension.
The back of the fridge dimension.
That's not a good dimension.
No, but yeah, and like you get after every time you complete a level, because you can either do it for your restaurant, cook, serve, delicious, or you can go to a bunch of preset restaurants.
Okay.
Where they have like different menus and stuff, because you can get like after every time you do it, you get like a box where it's like here's more decor, here's a dish.
You get loot boxes.
You get loot boxes, but not in the shitty way. In the way that literally every time you do something, you get one.
Yeah.
So. You get like paintings and booths and countertops and things for your restaurant, so you can kind of really customize the way it looks. You can get new recipes. So you're like, I want to serve gumbo, and then you'll be like, this has a bonus seafood. I'm like, okay, apparently seafood is just a reward in and of itself.
Apparently so.
Apparently.
Well, I mean that's just wrong, but whatever.
Well, yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Seafood can get in the fucking sea.
Well, I mean, yeah. But yeah, no, that's pretty good. But I've managed to just, like I say, just having like one or two menu options and just being like, yep, keep pressing space and enter. I'm fine.
You've got yourself to a really specialised restaurant.
Yeah, where apparently people come in, crab's legs as well. They come in and go, 7 a.m. I'll have a roast rack of ribs, some egg rolls, and a beer.
Well, they're obviously still drunk from the night before.
Yeah,
that sounds like a great sort of late night / breakfast drunk thing.
You're gonna have a refresher.
Yeah, a nice refreshing bit of crab's legs and ribs.
Yeah.
And like you can just have like boiled asparagus as like a side, because like you fill up your drinks and you have side orders, which means that they take their main meal and then they take one of those as well, one of each. So it's like a meal. And like they give you more points because they're like, yeah, I got to drink beer at 7 a.m. and no one judged me. I guess, I don't know.
Can you press a button to judge them?
No, but there is a button. There is a stat, because at the end of it, it's like stats, and your buzz is like how popular a restaurant is. It's like how many good orders, how many bad orders, how many perfect orders. Like you get like chores, so it's like, oh, you need to go and take out the trash, so you take out the trash button and stuff like that. It's like, how many times did you flush the toilet? Because you have to go clean the toilets occasionally.
Smash the trash.
Yeah, and there's one of the stats which I have no idea how to get, or like I have never encountered something where this was a response, which is it's a picture of a shotgun with justice served
Oh.
Oh.
I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Well.
It's like, so do I get to just shoot people who, like what? I want to know. No one spoil it for me, because this is just the best stat. I have no idea.
It's because this game is secretly the new Frog Fractions.
Literally, you get emails and it references Frog Fractions.
Of course it
because of course it does.
And it's just going to turn into like a kind of vigilante first-person
Showering
shooter.
with your dad. Oh no, yeah, first-person shooter. That's fine. But yeah, it's a really addictive little game. It's a good plate spinner. Ha 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 ha. It's a good podcast game, I'd say.
Yeah, I can believe that.
You know what I mean? Provided you settled into a rhythm and you're not sitting there going, why don't I have more crab's legs? Why did I take gumbo? Corn dogs were a bad choice. They attract too many rats. Just like a real kitchen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Rats are a factor as well.
Rats are a factor and bugs are as well.
No, man, this has got so much depth to it.
It really has way more depth to it than you'd think.
More depth than it deserves, I think.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it does remind me, like, initially, like, say, with the stress involved, it reminded me of working as a waitress, but honestly, it doesn't have chefs actively throwing plates at you, so it's not that, realistic, let's be honest.
Oh, no.
Yeah, chefs are insane, and I don't want to go near them.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I still, my leg still hurts in the winter, but that's okay. It's just the winter. Only when it rains, which is, albeit in Britain, 75% of the time.
Only when you have to run from the zombies. The T-post zombies.
Oh, I have to run from the zombie chefs. Yeah. The Bethesda zombies chasing me through kitchens, ignoring elevation of any description.
You know, we should probably try and move on a little bit, because I just noticed we've been going over 2 hours and we've not got to the questions yet.
Okay, so last thing I've been doing, I've been reading Berserk, the manga.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so a lot of people have suggested that I read the Berserk manga, because I like the mangas occasionally.
I quite like Dark Souls, and I'm told that I should read Berserk because I like Dark Souls.
It's literally just it's so like Dark Souls, fucking hell.
Basically, anything in Dark Souls, you go, why is this the case? And you go, oh, Miyazaki is a Berserk fan, and it's a reference.
Yeah,
that's the answer to
really.
most
It's like one of the pages I've just read. It's just Guts sitting on a pile of bodies with a sword over his shoulder, like leaning on his shoulder and on the ground, looking like really wounded. It's like, I have seen that one guy in every Dark Souls game ever. It's just, this is always a guy kind of sitting there looking fucking badass. But yeah, like, I will say, before you start, like, lighting your pitchforks and sharpening your fire, I'm going to tell you straight, I fucking hated it to begin with. It was awful.
Oh.
God, like, the opening, it's a very kind of cold open, like, he's got a metal arm now, he's got basically a bust, a sword, and he's a dick. He's an absolute wanker. Like, he's horrible, and he's like, it literally opens on him shagging a succubus. Just like,
as you do.
It's just like, okay, that's the most overly muscle ass I have ever seen. And then he just takes out his sword, he's like, bop, and kills it, and then he's like, I'm gonna go over here and be an anime protagonist. That kind of stereotypical kind of like, everything is miserable.
Brooding.
He's just so good. Broody. Yeah, exactly. And I'm just like, okay, I kind of don't like this guy. And then Puck the elf shows up, who, and I know I'm going to get roasted for this, is the best part of that first act. Fight me, you know I'm right. Because, like, that's the one that's like, there's horrible things going on. Like, people are getting horribly slaughtered in the fucking streets, and, like, children are getting fucking murdered, and Puck's like, oh my god, this is horrible, Guts, do something. He's like, well, if they're so weak, they deserve to get horribly mutilated. I'm so good, I'm gonna go over here and think about sadness and how angry I am for no reason. I'm paraphrasing, that's basically what happens. And he's just a jerk. I don't like him at all. He's a fucking dick. And I honestly had real trouble getting through the first act. Because it's like, it's just sitting there trying to, like, it felt very much like, because there's a lot of unpleasant themes.
Yes.
Like, there's sexual violence, there's just severe violence, and just nasty bits of torture. And basically, anytime there's a woman there, there's all the kind of sexual violence threats, because it's grimdark and horrible.
Fucking horse.
And I was just kind of like, it felt like maybe the author was throwing those in there just because he thought it would make them a bit more grimdark rather than kind of earning that. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you can feel them sitting there going, what would be the nastiest thing to throw in here? Child murder. Let's do that.
Yeah.
And I was very fed up with it. And then it kind of, the next kind of arc, I guess, after I got through that, was Guts when he was younger. So, main character Guts. So basically, he's got a real grim, dark, kind of a bit stupid beginning. So
yeah,
you know the stereotypical hanging corpse tree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's like a roaming band of like mercenaries who happen across this tree, and basically a baby falls out of a dead woman.
Great.
And that's Guts. And like,
is that why he's called Guts?
I don't know.
Because he fell out of a dead woman.
It's
like
not actually
Guts
been
would.
specified so far. But no, just like there's a woman in the troop who had like a miscarriage, so she's immediately like, "This is my baby," and the guy's like, "Fine." And it kind of goes on about how he was raised in this mercenary camp and how the main guy is just a fucking. He's kind of like a father figure to Guts, but he's obviously just a fucking dick.
Oh.
Like to the point where he basically, like, one of the guys is like, I want time with that 9-year-old boy. Here's a gold piece. And he goes, yeah, go on.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's like, that's pretty fucking grim. But I think that was used a lot better than any of the other horrible themes in the first arc, which is terrible.
Well, you were telling me about how, like, after that, it sort of becomes a much more balanced story.
It really does. I was really pleased that I've kept reading, because honestly, the initial arc turned me off so badly, and getting into it, kind of like Guts is a lot more human. Like, you see how he gets like a couple of his scars so far. I haven't finished it, but like,
Isn't it still going?
It's probably still. I think it's still going. But yeah, and like, it's him growing up, and he's realizing, he's killing people, and he's a part of the mercenary band, and it's kind of like progressing and following him as he kind of like leaves the mercenary camp, and he gets picked up by another band of mercenaries, and you get introduced to a bunch of characters there, and it kind of like shows that, like, there's some growth there, and he's a fun enough character. He's not the brooding wank you get in the first part, which was honestly so painfully unlikable.
And I guess even when he turns in, if inevitably he'll end up turning into that brooding wank, at least you'll then have the context of how he got there.
I'm still
so
like, I still don't think
more.
I could be as forgiving, because he's just
borderline
irredeemable in his prickery.
Yeah.
But it's like, at least you could understand a little bit of it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm kind of like massively like, I don't give a fuck what your story is. Don't be an arsehole.
Yeah.
And Guts is basically like, I will always be an arsehole. But no, it's like, I've kind of gotten up to, because like there's a couple of characters. I mean, I'd say, I'm going to keep harping on it, but starting off with that as the beginning ruined a lot, because I think it's the prequel problem. Where it's like, so there's a character in there who, well, it's not really a spoiler, but there's a character that Guts had a very close relationship with, and he is shown at the end of the first arc to be a bad guy. And then, like, through the second arc, which is like pre all these events, you see him being friends with the guy, and kind of like the weird relationship that they have, and kind of the battles they fought together, and the whole time you're like, this is really good, but when is he going to turn evil?
Yeah, of course.
So it spoils itself.
Yeah.
Which is a bit rough. There's been a few more kind of like a bit dodgy kind of moments, but there's also been like actual levity, which I actually kind of appreciate. So it's like, like him and his friend have like they have like a water fight basically, and it's like, that's nice. It's just like, it's not all grim and, I'm glad that children are being murdered. They deserve it because they're weak. And if, like, it's okay, that's really dumb.
What you're saying, it reminds me a little bit of the, I actually haven't read the manga of it, but the anime of Attack on Titan had the problem of the intro of it was all grim before the Titans show up. So when stuff got worse, it didn't have as much impact as if you'd seen some people have any degree of happiness beforehand.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like everyone was miserable already, and then the Titans ate everyone. So
yeah. It wasn't the Titans brought severe, horrible misery. Yeah. It was just we were pretty pissed off before, but now occasionally we get eaten.
It's I get what they were. Again, I get what they were going for, but I think the thing that they were trying to make you feel would have had more impact if they'd have shown at least life could be okay before that for the characters.
Yeah.
Because the anime was pretty good apart from that. Like I quite enjoyed it. You know.
Mm-hmm. I will say I think the As critical as I am being, I have actually started very much enjoying it. I do like... there's a couple of bits that I think are incredibly well written. It's because his friend, he kind of gets all fancy and starts hanging out with princesses and stuff, while Guts is just this worn soldier. So they're like worlds apart, and it's just kind of like it shows you their differences and kind of how they are perceived by the world around them. Like, that Guts is necessary, but not liked.
Yeah.
He's not pretty. He's not a good conversationalist. He doesn't hit all the notes, so, but he is still required to get the ugly things done, so they'll tolerate him.
He's a world eater, basically.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, I can probably actually mention that Eliphas has been kind of working on making a Berserk 40k video. Kind of like how he did with Fist of the North Star, like a year ago or something.
Okay.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm looking forward to that. That'd be good, especially because I know what Berserk is.
Yeah.
I like
exactly.
I like that because I know what it is.
Well, no, I like it, and I like 40k, and I like Eliphas, so he's going to do good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will say, I think the fact that it started off so grim and miserable did no favours for it. And I like the fact that now, in the second one, they have a lot more happy, like silly kind of moments and kind of friendly moments, or, there's like soldiers teasing each other, just being silly, but also that also helps put into perspective the violence and the brutality of the time and the occupation that they're all currently in. And I think that's massively important. Rather than just have murder, 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 everything is grim. You need the jokes. You need the silliness to
juxtapose, I suppose.
You need that juxtaposed to give the violence and the horrors of war the impact that it needs.
Because people joke all the time in the grimmest situations.
Gallows humor.
There's always levity in the worst of times because that's how people cope.
Yeah. So it's that makes it feel so much more realistic. It makes the characters so much more endearing. They're all kind of grey kind of people. Like
morally grey.
Morally grey, as much as like a story can. So like Guts is like he's just a soldier, and he's like, this is what I do. This is what I've always done, so I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And that's not a fault of his character, like, it's just, that's the way he is. Yeah. Whereas, again, compare it to the first arc, and he's just like, grim, brooding, so miserable, I hate everything. Even though he might have reason to.
I actually feel this applies pretty heavily to 40k stories as well, honestly.
Absolutely. You can't be like, oh yes, in the grim darkness. It's like, no, come on. Somewhere in the grim darkness of the far future, someone's built a fucking ultramarine pinata at a child's birthday
Someone's
party.
going on a fucking space adventure, dude!
Yeah, it's gonna be telling gnarly.
Tubular!
Oh, I can't think of any other, old words for good.
On that note, shall we move on to those questions that we'll have to answer very quickly because we've already run over our time significantly?
I'm sorry.
We won't answer every question we've got. We'll leave those for next time. But, Matt, if you can pick 3 questions that seem relevant or interesting for answering right now while Alpha's here, could you do that?
Okay, sure.
You can do it. I believe in you.
Do some more. Do it fast.
And if you want to send a question for next time to add to the already great pile, send it to onlydrummermatt at snipeandwib@gmail.com.
The grand pile.
the grand pile from the stupid email that we can't change.
Which it is totally within our power to change. But we're not going to.
We're not going to.
Obviously not, no. Alright, so first up, this one is actually relevant to something we've spoken about today. Baba Yaga emailed in and their question was, which I'm sure we've already answered, but what are our thoughts on Warhammer Adventures?
Oh,
What's that?
So I think we've already mostly answered that. I think just to clarify, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we all think it's a good idea in general.
No, we hate it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Alfabusa hates it, but he hates 40k.
Yeah, I mean that's true.
Well, yeah.
I'm gonna keep this fucking gate.
Keep it harder. The children are coming in.
Yeah, it's not that we're anti the adventures. We're just really pro gates in general.
Pro gates, hate children. Really, it just works.
So yeah, but anyway, I think we've mostly answered the question. But they did raise a good point because they were saying, they agreed most of the stuff against it is just generic gatekeeper bullcrap. They had one of the almost legit criticisms that people have mentioned is that trying to sell like the grimdark universe or grimdark setting to kids, depending on how far they go with that, could be inappropriate. But their counter to that was like, has anyone read one of the original fairy tales? Or, or even something like, the Roald Dahl books, like The Witches or something like that. They said, like, there's a lot of pretty dark kid stories out there already. So even if they do want to keep some of the darkness in these, it's not like going to be the first vaguely dark thing aimed at, younger audience.
Exactly. Like kids love dark things, honestly.
And obviously you don't want to go too far, but like that,
Yeah, the first faction I played when I was 12 was Dark Eldar, because the dude in the Games Workshop was like, oh yeah, like regular Eldar will kill you, but Dark Eldar will kill you and then wear your hands as a necklace. And I'm like, yep, that's my faction.
Cool. But yeah, that's totally accurate. Like remember those like old horror stories for kids that you
scary tales to tell in the dark?
that like you sat and read and you got like extremely scared, but you just kept reading for some reason.
Kids like to be scared. Generally speaking, they like being able to explore some of the darker parts of humanity in a completely safe environment,
especially
which adults do as well.
If it's on their terms, of course.
Yeah.
That's exactly what a book is. It's scary on their terms because they can just put it away.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the concerns are based on the preconception that the writers are terrible and don't know what they're doing.
I think so too.
And I think that they probably do understand.
Yeah.
The only counter argument that I recognize as real is that one guy who said, I don't think these books are a good idea because I don't want to see these children getting hurt.
Yes, no, that's true.
That one person who said specifically, I don't want to see these children getting hurt. Like, he is very concerned about these particular children in the story.
These fictional children in the story. What if they encounter a Necron? It could hurt them.
He believes them to be pure and innocent, and they do not they do not deserve to go on a space adventure and go and get hurt.
And go on a gnarly space adventure that's really tubular and rad.
I mean, there's never been a story about children that has danger in it, ever.
No, illegal.
No.
Yep.
Doesn't exist.
It's literally illegal. That's why we have to punch police officers.
Exactly.
It's
because the police officers will come to your house and go, yeah, you're not allowed to even pretend that children might get hurt, and then they'll steal your computer and arrest you.
Yeah.
On suspicion of being bad.
Librarians are basically police.
Yeah. They have the best loot.
Next question, please, Matthew.
Yeah. Their final point, just to close this off, was that they said, anyway, I don't know how, about the 40k book, but since Snipe is writing all the Age of Sigmar stuff anyway, at least we know that's going to be good. So,
well, yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad that people have so much faith in my writing, because it is really good.
I forgot about that. You wrote Age of Sigmar.
I did, yes.
Thank you.
You are to blame / thank.
Bring back the halflings.
I will.
Good.
Just for you.
Yeah, I'll do it, just for you.
Thank you.
There we go.
Excellent.
Anything else you want me to bring back? Because I'll just do it, because I don't give a fuck.
Please stop calling Gnobblers grots.
Okay.
I don't know why you started doing that. Like, I discovered on the Games Workshop store page that Gnobblers still exist, but they have been rebranded as grots. But Gnobblers is a better name. Why did you do this?
I didn't do it. They went over my head.
Oh, okay.
Because, I mean, the reason, Gnobbler is such a great word, and it came up one day when I was in the office, where I write all of the Age of Sigmar and fantasy stuff.
Of course.
And there were, So these things that you've written, what should you call them? And then I sneezed when I had half a cup of coffee in my mouth. And they went, dude, that's rad! And I was like, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Matthew, please, next question. My God, next question.
A related one, considering who we've got in presence, 40k related. Phoenix Shaman wrote in about... so we keep mentioning that about getting into LARP stuff. Have any of us heard...
Do we?
We've mentioned it quite a few times.
I think Questions mentioned it a few times, and we've been like, yes, that's a
thing. It came up, and I can't remember how, but yeah, we talked about how we'd all like to give it a go someday.
But they've suggested a LARP system called Death Unto Darkness, Agents of the Imperium, and it's a 40k LARP. Apparently.
Okay.
I'm not tall enough to do a 40k LARP.
You don't have to be a space marine.
I want to be.
Just be a child going on a space adventure.
No, I can't because of all the gates in the 41st millennium.
That's true.
They're everywhere. There's nowhere for me to get into the fucking setting.
So yeah, there's no explicit... I'm just moving on. There's no explicit question in that, but I don't know, what do you guys feel about 40k LARP?
I don't know how well that is.
Yeah, I
think that would be a little harder to get immersed in because the environment. Yeah, you can go to a fucking.
You can go to the woods and be like, we're in the wood planet.
That's the thing. It's very. I can feel it would be easier to go to like some woods and think of yourself as being in a fantasy setting, whereas I think it would be harder.
Or a sci-fi setting is a bit.
You
could go to your local curries.
Sci-fi settings still have planets with woods on.
No. That's not true at all, even remotely. So what you do is you go to your local computer components store, like maybe Curry's or PC World, and you just pretend to be a tech priest for a bit.
And get thrown out for sexually assaulting a sandwich maker.
Yeah. I mean, I can't go to the one around the corner from the house because that's why I am banned from PC World. But I'm sure they haven't sent my picture to any other PC World, so we can see where it goes.
PC World, more like politically correct world. Don't let you... Let's play 40k character.
Don't let you griddle your dick in a Breville.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my dick. I get to put it in a toaster if I want.
Yeah, this is free world.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to see the rules for it because I know I'm being kind of dismissive of it, but I think that's just because I am having trouble imagining it.
Well, they say it's quite fun and it's got a really welcoming community apparently, so which is always a nice thing. But yeah,
I'll have to look into that.
Check. All right, moving on. Third and final question, which has a couple of sub questions. But Beast of Bramble Jam, still sticking with the name, which is excellent.
I love that name.
Emailing more directed towards you, Web, but when editing down the podcast. What ends up getting cut out besides the obvious racist tirades? And to give context to this, we've currently been recording for 2.5 hours, so you'll see how much has been cut out of this one when you see how long it is.
It's going to be 45 minutes at this point in the final edit.
Usually what gets cut out is the tangents on the end of tangents.
What, you mean that I go on?
Yes.
So he basically cuts out stuff with me in it. That's literally it.
I am always surprised by how little actually ends up getting cut out, to be honest.
Just cut out me entirely.
We'll keep in that we're responding to you, but like you won't be there.
It might not fit together perfectly, but just cut out me entirely.
Or what we could do is basically just like chop up your audio so it's like I hate kids and love gates. Oh wait, that's actually what you said. But I hate gates and love children. There you go. Warhammer Adventures is a bad idea. I don't like it.
Fuck.
And then we'll be like, thanks, Alfabusa, and you'll be like, I hate 40k.
We'll horribly misrepresent you.
Yeah.
Yeah, as if I haven't done that to myself already.
I do it every time I sit in front of a microphone. Don't worry, you'll be fine.
My career is over either way.
That's the MisanthroPod magic for you.
But yeah, the short answer is tangents, jokes and things that don't go anywhere. Which, again, should shock you, knowing how many jokes that don't go anywhere are already in the podcast. So, honestly, it's often like where we'll stumble over our words and we'll start again, and so I'll just remove that. I'll remove excessive ums and ahs.
And the sirens that go past your guy's house every 35 seconds.
Yeah.
On the dot. It's the PC World Police they're looking for.
They've actually not banned today.
It's such a nice ambiance, though.
But yeah.
That's the city for you.
Second question. Has anyone in the group seen Isle of Dogs? The new was
I love dogs. Oh, okay. I don't care about that movie. I just like dogs.
Yeah,
I have not seen it.
Dogs are good.
No.
I have it. Yeah, it's a animated. I think stop motion, but I'm not 100% sure. But it looks quite stop motiony, and it's about dogs. So I've seen it. I highly recommend it. It's great.
Good.
Yeah, go check it out if you like dogs, which is everyone, right?
Everyone with a soul.
Yeah, basically.
Their third question, which is oddly appropriate for today, is any plans for any guests on the show?
No.
No, never.
No.
So,
Never.
Alpha, if you want to answer that.
Don't do it.
This is Alpha's show now. We're not allowed to.
We're guests on Alpha's
We're
show.
guests on Alpha's show.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I know, I'm sorry. MisanthroPod's the worst.
We just have to pawn it onto someone else and then it's not our fault anymore.
See, what we've done is we've said to Alpha, no givesy backsies, and now he can't, do anything. Yeah. And now it's his responsibility to put one of these out every 2 weeks.
You're still uploading it on our channel, though, so we get the money for it, right?
Yeah, the dozens of pence we get for it.
It'll be my new art installation. It'll be,
yes.
For instance, 2 hours of just screaming. Like a screaming compilation.
That's literally what gets cut out every 2 weeks, just from me anyway, so...
And it'll also be just kind of a radio silence with a few, mouth noises, like... now and again.
ASMR.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that...
Also, I'm very sorry for people at home. Just that noise, yeah.
For 2 hours.
Yeah.
And if someone translates it over to Morse code and manages to then translate it over to Swedish, they'll get the secret location of my stash of gold.
Cutlery.
Cutlery, yeah. Caviar
Your golden cutlery.
Cutlery.
Excellent.
With jewels hanging off it like barnacles. The best cutlery has barnacles.
Yep. On that cutlery-based note, I guess we should wrap up.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
That's what's happening.
Could be the longest one so far. So,
thank you very much for allowing me to ruin your podcast and
yeah, Alpha, you fucking ruined our podcast. It was horrible.
No,
but it's your problem now, so I ain't give a dang.
No, thank you for coming on. Thank you for giving us something to talk about, because otherwise we'd just be sitting here in awkward silence,
like we always do.
Well, that's the future of the MisanthroPod when I take
over.
It's going to transcend normal ears and go for a more experimental experience.
So yes, thank you very much. Would you like to, even though everyone listening to this, I can guarantee knows who you are and where to find you. Do you want to
they know where to find your cutlery, Alpha. What are you going to
do? Would you like to tell the people at home where to find you?
Okay. Yeah, you can find me over at Bruva Alfabusa on YouTube.com, which is a website on the internet. I make awful videos at times. That is all I do. Actually, keyword is at times. I haven't uploaded in the last 4 months due to the humongous project I am currently enwrapped in. So don't expect much for another month, I think. I hope.
Oh,
come
on.
He
said
Let me out!
It's nailed down now, a month time.
So on the
no, don't start that. Oh my god.
On the 31st of July or June, that's when episode 26 goes live. Is there 31 days in June? I don't know.
Sweating
There's
profusely.
At least 40. Oh god, you'll never speak to us again, Alphabus. I'm sorry.
But no, yeah.
I'm going to apologise to my co-hosts here. They just don't have any idea about etiquette. Not like what I do.
Yes.
So yeah, thank you for coming on.
Thank you very much for joining us, dude. It's been awesome chatting to you.
Thank you for allowing me.
And thank you to everyone for listening and for sending in the questions. We'll answer the rest of them next time.
Send us in questions for Alphabusa next time, because that'll be really funny. because it'll be like the worst lag. And okay, it'll be funny for me.
We'll answer them on his behalf.
Yeah. We'll. Are you okay for us to do that, Alpha?
I am completely okay with this. Please answer all of the questions on my behalf.
You are aware this is legally binding, right?
Okay, so guys, this just in. Alfabusa has given me power of attorney.
Yes, Alphabus as an entity is allowing you to answer questions on its behalf.
That's what we'll do. Send us in a question for Alphabus, and we'll answer it.
However, Alphabus as an entity will be outside your window screaming while you do so.
So yeah, if you just hear a the whole time, you know that's the Alphabus. It sees you when you're sleeping, it sees you when you're awake, it literally sees forever. It sees through your flesh.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Sleep well.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a good one.